Welcome back, everybody, to a special edition, Guys Night Out 5, a more civilized affair. This is Amin.
And this is Kyle.
And we have a special panel of guests here that I'm going to ask to introduce themselves briefly and what website and they represent. Let's go with alphabetical order. So is that Alex again?
I suppose it must be. So this is Alex Smith, co-founder of TowerOfTheHand.com, and happy to be back on the show again.
This is Fabio, Fire and Blood from winteriscoming.net. I'm also commonly known as Axe Chucker on Twitter, and that's it for now.
And I guess that leaves me. I'm Sean T. Collins. I am the blogger behind All Leather Must Be Boiled at boiledleather.com. I'm the co-host of the Boiled Leather Audio Hour podcast, a far less illustrious podcast than this one, with Stefan Sasse, who contributes to Tower of the Hand, and also in my capacity as a freelance critic and journalist, I've covered Game of Thrones for the last 2 seasons for Rolling Stone.
Excellent. Welcome to the halls of House Manwoody.
It's great to be. It feels like coming home, to be honest with you.
So we have lemon cakes. I think, Kyle, you baked some blood orange cakes. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know where this rumor came from. Apparently, someone's spreading the idea that I am a master blood orange cake maker.
I think you have a lot of experience eating them, so you became good at making them, right?
They are quite delicious, and now I am very curious if there is a blood orange cake.
Kyle, would that be considered a dessert, though?
Hey, I don't have a problem with most desserts. It's just those crazy Korean desserts.
Okay. Arbor Gold, Dornish Red. For those watching the calories, we have Diet Dr. Pepper. I think, Fabio, you requested that, right?
That is my drink of choice.
We also have Diet Shadow Wine this time.
I'm just wondering where the unborn puppy is, because I could really use some unborn puppy right about now.
Oh, jeez.
So
it's a book reference. It's okay. They eat unborn puppy in Marine.
Oh, wow.
Well, goodie bag stocked with shadow condoms, feathered hats. Things get particularly interesting later tonight. We have it's a hot summer day, so we got iced moon tea available for
just in case things get wild.
In case anyone loves unwisely.
Yeah, well, Elio was supposed to run that part of the event today, but couldn't make it the last minute.
Uh-oh. He's in trouble.
You have to be responsible. Always use a shadow condom, even that one time. Can lead to
even
disaster.
That one time.
Yeah.
He might be doing his hair. I mean, that ponytail does not do
takes
itself.
maintenance. Maybe it's because you're axe chucker and he has a fear of axes. Something.
That could be. Yeah.
The rogue axe will lop off his Samson power.
Yeah.
It's probably because the World of Ice and Fire has been delayed another 5 years, and he doesn't want to face our collective wrath.
There we go. Yeah.
But isn't it a tradition in the world of Ice and Fire in general for things to be delayed a number of years? I mean, that's really just kind of keeping with tradition.
Exactly.
Sometimes the delay is a good thing. So
what the heck would we do if there weren't all these delays?
Okay.
Well,
go ahead. You were saying something?
Oh, no. I decided it wasn't as funny as it sounded in my head, so I'll keep it there.
Okay. Well, I wanted to explain a lot of what we're doing today. Not everything, but we're covering a lot of theories and ideas. And we'll go into the plus or the minus side of it, but I was hoping that what we do that's special for this episode we haven't done before is actually vote or say yes or no to a theory or select it, just so we can see
aye or nay, sir.
Yeah.
Aye or nay.
Or it could be A, B, C if there's multiple interpretations or options. But I just wanted to get that there. So that's too bad we're missing Elio for that. But one of us can pretend to say what Elio would have said or something. We'll predict.
Every answer is, well, I can't comment on that because I already know.
Yeah.
He'll abstain from every vote. But what I wanted to do is, because it's kind of I'm not sure exactly when this episode's coming out, hopefully soon, but whenever it comes out, it'll be close to the 2nd year anniversary of A Dance with Dragons release. So I wanted to just go around and see if people's views have changed plus or minus since it came out. But I just wanted to see, after the rereads and things like that, how do we feel about the book now 2 years later?
I think personally that it still holds up. It's not my favorite book of the series. Mine is a Storm of Swords, and a lot of people's is a Storm of Swords, and that's, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that pretty much the consensus from what you've heard from people? Is the Storm of Swords the best book of the series?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think so too.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I stand. I don't see it as bad of a book as some people say it is. I enjoyed it, especially on the reread. And then on my third reread, where I sort of took parts of that and Feast for Crows and read them both kind of at the same time and said, oh, okay, I sort of see how it makes sense. In a way, I wish it had been, along with Feast for Crows, just one impossibly gigantic book. But obviously that couldn't have happened, and, it's just too freaking big.
Right, and well, I mean, it's just, I'll say this, it's pretty much the same thing I said, the first time around. I enjoyed it very much. I think if you take it as a book standing on its own, with its own beginning, middle, and end, it's definitely weaker. The fact that he decided to move the major climaxes in the North and in Marine into Winds of Winter, I think, from a structural perspective for that specific book, was a huge mistake, but it's the same high-quality writing. I don't have a problem where the plots are going, and when we have all the books back to back to back to back, some of those structural issues won't be as important because those events are still happening, just a little delayed.
Right. I'm with Alex. I think it's a situation that's not all that different from watching a lot of the great dramas on television right now. You still hear a lot of TV critics complain that a given episode of a show like Game of Thrones doesn't have the traditional beginning, middle, and end. It doesn't stand on its own. It's not thematically unified necessarily. But that's not what those shows are trying to do. They're telling one big, long story a season at a time, or even a series at a time. And that's more or less what Martin's doing. Now, I really like Martin's writing. I really like that world. I really like his viewpoint on it. So I'm happy to spend as much time as he wants to let us spend per book in that world. I didn't really get upset that it didn't lead to some big, massive battle-type climax because I enjoyed myself the whole time. So when I get to the end of it and I'm like, well, I enjoyed myself the whole time, but now I don't like it because I wanted to enjoy myself for 5 more minutes, that's weird to me. I will also say, though, like Fabio, I do think it would have benefited had it been all one giant book with Feast, and having read it that way with the reread, the combined reading order that I helped put together, I really like that giant book a whole lot, and I think
actually
that.
it was either yours or one that you recommended.
Right.
Yeah. I don't.
Oh, cool.
Did you actually put together one yourself, or did you forward someone else's work for that?
I did. Yeah, I did, and I'll, I guess we can put that link in here somewhere. But
yes.
Yeah, it was. I don't want to oversell the amount of work that I did. I pretty much just looked around, figuring that someone would have established like the perfect combined reading order, and I found that no one really had. There was no consensus choice.
That's
so
awesome.
I just looked at the ones that were out there and looked at what I wanted from a combined reading order and kind of monkeyed with what was out there until I came up with what I wanted. And it was sort of refined by my readers who would suggest moving chapters around or tweaking things in the comments. And it's gone over pretty well. I know a lot of people have used it, and
yep,
I certainly enjoyed reading it.
That was great. So. Thank you.
Yep. And yeah, I think the book definitely benefits from combined reading because there's a real balance issue because, a lot of people complain, and not me personally because I love the travelogue chapters, but a lot of people complain about how A Feast for Crows is just too many people moving from point A to point B and there's just not enough plot going on. But when you put both books together, you've got some traveling going on in both with Brienne and Tyrion and Sam and a bit, but you also have a lot more meaty plot stuff happening throughout as well. And I think that balance is good when you put them together.
Yeah.
Was it called Feast Dance? Is the term you came up for?
That's what I call it, yeah, because it reminds me of Flashdance or Bat Dance, things like that.
Wait, excuse me?
What a feeling, keep believing. If you have that in your head the whole time, like when John's getting stabbed to death or whatever, it's much, much cooler.
Now I'm just picturing the arena and Marine, and when Drogon flies in and her getting on his back and then just pulling the chain.
Right there in the arena. Maniac. It's so much better that way.
Oh, someone's going to do that now. You guys are going to blame for this because I'm going to see that thing on Tumblr within a few weeks now.
Blame or credit? I think credit's the word.
It'll be on Tumblr before the end of the episode, probably.
Let me tweet it out right now. No, I'm glad you just sent over that list because I actually I'm embarrassed to admit that I haven't reread Dance yet. So I need to do that. And now that you were just talking about the combined list, I had heard of it before.
Combined list is so good, and Kyle, it's so worth it. And the reread, to me, it holds up so much better than, I don't know, when you initially get a book and you sit down, it's from an author you really love, you just kind of tear through it. You're like, okay, whatever. But there's so many details that Martin puts into his work that you really just kind of have to marinate, And I think the reread especially, with the combined chapters is just it's fucking gold, man.
Yeah, well, just the richness of the setting. I mean, in Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons, he really goes all in with giving us a lot of this geographical, cultural, and historical information. Tyrion's journey down the Rhine, or Brienne moving along the coast, Brackhall Point, all of those areas. And that's the kind of thing that I think a reread is really nice for us. Now that you're not, oh my God, what happens next? What happens next? What happens next? You can kind of sit back and soak in these details.
All right, I've got my summer job ahead of me.
Yeah, you'll dig it. I think you'll. And I sent the new reader friendly link because it's actually the reading order that I prefer, even as an old reader at this point. It's the one that preserves the Quentin reveal, so you don't find out. Even though if you put it all together chronologically, Quentin first shows up long before Doran reveals to Arianne what's going on there. This version, it's just a matter of, I think, rearranging literally 2 chapters and holding the Quentin thing until later than it actually would have happened if you're looking at everything more or less chronologically. And I think it's just a little bit cooler that way. If you want to read it in the regular order, there's a link in there too, where you'll see Quentin for the first time, at the time that event actually takes place, instead of waiting until after you find out about it secondhand from Doran.
Fantastic.
I feel like part of the problem was such a long wait for the book. Like if it had come out earlier, it wouldn't have hit as hard there. That put up. But I do think, if the next book is still a transition book, I'm not going to give it the pass that this book had. Because this book was supposed to be a transition book. Even if you look at, I think our editor wrote about this in The Flight of Sorrows. He was saying, this is this middle act, and you can actually see in the epilogue it ending.
Yep.
But the next book is going to be key for seeing how the series is going.
And I think it will be. I almost see it as probably being 2 trilogies in a way at this point, taking Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons as one book,
Uh-huh.
And this felt very much like Act 1 of the second trilogy. Aegon's landed by the end of A Dance with Dragons. That's got to be a game changer that's going to move things forward.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't see how the next book could just be a transitional book, because then there's just so much needs to happen.
That would be a lot of filler.
I don't want to go off topic too much, but there's something that I've always been curious about, and some of you may know this answer more than most. Originally, obviously, George R. R. Martin had intended to do the series with a 5-year jump, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. At that point, what do you think would have been completely just cut out, and where would we have started, say, the 5-year jump? Where would that have launched us?
Well, I think a lot of Dance with Dragons would have just been cut or been flashbacks, right? Like it would have been.
That's what Martin himself has said, is that he started writing so many flashbacks that, it became ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, checking. I Googled real quick, and one of the first things to come up was from the Citadel at Westeros, and I guess the storylines that he found I guess he's noted were a little bit problematic when he changed the gap to a non-gap, where the kids, like Bran and Arya and Sansa, because they would have been older, which gives him more leeway to do certain things, I suppose. So that caught him short, and I think clearly he had intended Dany to have been in Meereen for longer, which would have made it easier to get everyone there who needed to get there, which would have eliminated the Meereenese knot, which was the problem of how do you get them there, and in what order, and what do they do on the way, and what does Dany do while she's waiting, and what do the other characters in Meereen do while Dany's waiting, and that ended up eating up a lot of his time. So that I think the Meereen stuff would have looked a lot different. Probably the stuff involving the younger characters would have looked a lot different.
Yeah. I was going to say, he has said in interviews too that even in a Game of Thrones, he had been hoping that the children would have aged more over the course of that book. But what he found is that he couldn't realistically have reactions to events delayed. It's like when this happens, this is going to be known about within so many days, and then this response is going to happen, and it would be unrealistic for this stuff to be going on over the course of months and months and months.
Right.
And so he was probably going to end up in just about the same place in A Dance with Dragons. And I think part of what the problem he realized is, well, the natural consequences of what these characters have done is going to make things spiral out of control a lot faster, and 5 years just isn't going to be believable.
Okay.
Was the last book was originally going to be A Time for Wolves, right? And then he changed the name to A Dream of Spring?
He never liked that title.
Yeah.
It was one that he had in mind, but he always said in interviews that he wasn't fond of it. So,
but I mean, like, but he changed it from that to something else. I mean, like, that was still the idea that came initially, right? Somebody else didn't title it that. He did, right? That was his temporary title. But the point being is maybe, like, if you follow the arc of things, it's like, the Starks collapsed. Then you have, like, a status quo of, like, 5 or 10 years, and then they come back. That's a general theme that's happened in a lot of books. Maybe that was the idea initially. Like, usually have, like, a middle ground while, like, one house is apparently on top. Right now, everything's happening pretty quickly. The Lannisters have barely been in power, and they're suddenly going down again. Like, it seems like it's a change of what he initially planned. Maybe they wanted to be there for a while, have Dany and Marine for a while, go have 5 years of whatever, and then 5 years later, this happens.
Well, there's sort of that...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh,
please.
We're so polite, I can't even stand it. There's sort of that. There's sort of that.
It's being run by a Canadian.
I'll steamroll them. I'm from America. This is there's sort of that. Yeah, there's that meta line.
Hey, Alex is from Texas, isn't he?
No.
You're not? No? I thought you were Texas.
No. Midwest.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm from New York. There's a meta line that he gives to Littlefinger about how he couldn't. He expected to have several years with Cersei at the helm and things going to hell, but she's sending them to hell so much faster. He has to kind of adjust his plans, and I've always thought that was Martin kind of tipping his hand a little bit.
I definitely agree with that. Though, I mean, the main reason he wanted the gap, from what it sounds like in his interviews, is not because he felt his plots needed a 5-year gap, but that he was sick of writing children, and he wanted his children to be a more realistic age for some of the trials they were going to take on, and it was really to age the children that he put the gap in as much as anything.
He put it in so Tommen and Marjorie wouldn't be so creepy.
Because he does not like writing children. I mean, according to his own interviews,
right.
He does not like writing children. And like I said, I read or saw, I can't remember if it was video or not, an interview once where he said that, he had expected the children to be older by the end of a Game of Thrones, but as he got to writing it, the pace of events, in order to keep that realistic, he had to kind of crunch what he thought was the original kind of time frame, and so the children never did age as much as he had wanted them to for plot reasons.
Yeah.
Interestingly, on the show, they will age.
Yeah, and they are aging.
Yes.
And that's just, I think nobody suspects the butterfly.tumblr.com, which is a big, theory-ish Tumblr, not unlike mine, just broke down the relative ages of the kids in each books, and corresponding season. And, the kids are just straight out aging, and I think the show is more or less acknowledging that. They're not trying to pretend that Bran is still 9 or whatever.
But they, you see, that's what I figured they'd be doing. But then I was very shocked in the Sansa Tyrion betting scene where she said she was 14 still, and it's like, no.
You sure about that one?
Well, you can get away with fudging.
14-year-old.
It's funny. I think on television you can get away with fudging that sort of stuff more than you might expect, because even though these are obviously live people and you see how old they are, you're so used to seeing people play much younger when it comes to teenagers. You're so used to seeing, like on the WB, it's ridiculous. If you watch whatever it's called now, like the Vampire Diaries, these people are all they look like they're in their early 30s, and they're they're talking about prom, and homecoming.
Oh no, I agree that you can get away with it, but I was assuming that they were acknowledging the aging a little bit more than that, and I was a bit surprised when, in their view, Sansa was still a 14-year-old, and as opposed to a 15 or 16-year-old.
Okay.
Because, of course, the actress is 17. So.
Right.
Teleportation abilities of Littlefinger, and I had kind of always argued against that, saying, well, they haven't, it's not like they're telling us exactly how much time is passing. You can reasonably say that, Littlefinger could get from point A to point B, in a couple months, and that, that maybe a month has passed and we just don't know it. They hadn't really put the foot forward and started earmarking time, so to speak. So, it was surprising to me too. I agree that when they actually started naming ages, I said, well, is that necessary to the story? But I guess if you want to, if you want to kind of explain why Tyrion's feeling a little queasy about betting a little girl, then you kind of have to, underline, her age.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there was certainly a lot of time teleports in that final episode. A lot of moments where in between scenes it was probably 2 or 3 months.
How far do you think the series is going to go time-wise? Like a year, or like how far are we going to get by the end of the series?
Well, I don't know because we don't know how far the books are going to get, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the?
I don't
No,
know.
I mean the books. I mean the books.
Oh, the books.
Okay.
Jeez, I kind of, I've always kind of figured that maybe there will be a little bit of a jump, or just time will start moving much faster at some point during these final 2 books, simply to give the winter more weight, because it will be odd if you've spent 5 books before the snow falls in King's Landing, and then everything is over 2 books later. Like, I've often wondered if he'll stretch out or speed up, whatever the proper imagery is, time, in order to have all the characters wallow in winter for an amount of time that's commensurate with that threat. Do I am making sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think the question, I mean, and Kyle's talked about, he had an interesting idea about this, is are we going to get a full winter, or is if the others are resolved, is it going to be a false winter kind of thing?
I think winter wins. I think winter ends when the others do, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly the way the seasons work is influenced by what's going on with the others. So yeah, I would agree with that.
So the others are affecting climate change, or is this weather, or it's weather? You gotta get a carbon tax on the.
Yeah, if once the others are defeated, will there never be a winter again? Like what?
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that it really is kind of a warmer climate in general. I mean, the north, the coldest part, does have what they call their summer snows. So there is something that could be considered more winterish weather that even happens in late summer. So, I mean, it's not necessarily that winter will go away. It's just I think this is a region that with its geographic location would not probably have harsh winters if they had a normal climate.
I'm curious about the seasons. Like, did he just kind of change that since he first wrote the book about seasons? Like, did they vary? Is every year different, or
how?
Like, I mean,
do you mean is there
we had a 9-year summer or something?
Fall-winter cycle within a single year, a single term. I don't think he's ever really addressed that. I mean, the closest thing we've come to that is this concept of summer snows. That's kind of the one thing that hints that sometimes the weather,
Well, I think Tyrion said he's seen so many, a certain amount of summers or winters. I don't remember the number, but he gives something, and I have a feeling that he regretted giving that number out because it kind of. Yeah,
in Game of Thrones, there are more characters that talk about how many winters they've seen or remembering their last winter or that kind of thing, and he's done a lot less of that since the first book. So I don't know.
Okay, well, speaking of winter, I want to get our predictions for the release of Winds of Winter. I started with ideal, like it's still being realistic, July 2014, but maybe more realistic July 2015, and then no later by July 2016. Those are my numbers. I'm matching the book before, that's why I chose July.
Way to just throw it all up against the wall. I mean,
well, look at have the document open, right? If you don't already have it open already, it helps to have the Google Doc open.
I'll be optimistic and say winter of next year.
Wait.
Wow.
So winter of 2014?
So like November 2014.
Okay.
I'll be optimistic.
I think in the year 2525, if man is still alive, we might get the Winds of Winter. No. I think about November 2014 sounds right to me.
Yeah, me too. I hate to be Johnny Joyner, but that is. I mean, I was going to be cockeyed and say July 2014, like Amin's first guess, out of his 3-year spread that he had there, which seems like cheating to me, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'm saying, if I had to choose 3 of them, I'd say sometime 2015. Anyways, I think even 2014 is being optimistic with the progress he's making, unless he's been hiding it, which is good. I want to be proven wrong. Bring it out to
I mean, this is a guy who dropped an entire novella on people unannounced. Like, in lieu of the other novella that he was writing, he came up with a whole new novella to put in the same anthology. Like, he seems to be like he's really productive right now.
Yeah, and he about doubled his commitment to the world of Ice and Fire in terms of the number of words.
Right.
It was supposed to be 50,000, and he took it up to like 80 or 90,000 words, something like that.
And I just kind of figure when you combine that level of productivity with his, he's now very, very careful, obviously, not to give any predictions.
Yeah.
But he does keep saying in interviews that he's not all that concerned about the show catching up. He's got a lot of time. And when you put that all together, I kind of envision him now as one of those situations where if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Like maybe instead of looking at these other Ice and Fire related projects he's finishing as a distraction, maybe he's just that on fire. Maybe he's just cranking out stuff about the world. And, in addition to the World Book and in addition to the Targaryen novella and the next Duncan Egg thing, he's still cranking out those Winds of Winter pages. So that's what I choose to believe.
I think until proven otherwise, I'm not going to be optimistic. Like, you have to go with the latest data we have. The last 2 books took a long time. I mean, not that I don't blame him for taking a long time. If he needs to take 5 years, take it. Like, I don't mind that. I guess the issue that we're going to get into, I was going to talk about later, is what effect is this going to have if the show gets ahead of the books? I want to see what all of you are going to do, like, because you all run major websites, like, how this is going to affect you. Are you going to keep watching the show, or are you going to stop? Like, what are you going to do?
Wait 1 sec. I just want to hear Fabio's prediction of when it's coming out.
Fabio,
prediction,
sure.
Spring 2016.
Ooh!
That's what I think.
That's harsh.
My soul!
Dang.
Wow, man. I'm sorry.
No, could be. I said no later.
And now our watch begins.
But he has so much on his plate.
Yeah.
And as the things wind down, I don't think and maybe it's just a pessimistic view. If I really want to be proven wrong, because I would love Winds of Winter to come out. I don't think, with regard to the show, I do not think there's any way, unless he just pulls something completely miraculous, I do not think the end of the books beats out the end of the show. That's just not happening. I don't see it.
I think that if he can get Winds of Winter out next year, and if he can get back to his pre-Feast for Crows pace of getting a novel out every 3 years, I think he could just make it, but that's leaving no margin for error. So I think there's a more than fair chance that the show is going to outpace him.
Well, the next
He's
book
just so busy, though. I mean, he takes all these other editing duties, and I'm not criticizing him for it. It's his life, man. George, live your life, dude. But I do think he recognizes that this is kind of his magnum opus and the thing that he will be judged for. And timeliness is not going to ultimately, 100 years from now, people aren't going to go, well, I waited 8 years for a Dream of Spring to come out, and I quit the series.
Oh, look, now,
No.
I'm happy to wait as long as necessary from a purely practical time standpoint there, but from a practical standpoint, a couple of other writers that I've enjoyed reading in the past were Robert Jordan, Frank Herbert. These are guys that, took a little too long. Isaac Asimov, another author that I like a lot, and they never did get to finish their grand master opuses just because of the, march of time. And I do worry about that, obviously.
And I don't even like to think about that, to be honest with you, because I know I'll be devastated. And not just because I don't get my book, but, this man's work has meant a lot to me and literally changed my life. I don't even like to contemplate that. I prefer to think that the main issue is not wanting to watch a show about material that I haven't read first.
And then, I just want to say, I want him to live the life the way he wants to live his life, and I want him to take all the time he feels he needs. And it is not his responsibility to finish this for all of us. It's just it is something that I do worry about happening. Is all.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's something we all may think in the deep of our head, but nobody's going to go up and tell him that, like the idiots that do that bullshit.
Exactly. And
Yeah. But he deserves to finish his book and then get the rewards, get everyone to he needs feedback. You want to finish your work and then be able to absorb society, enjoying it, right? That's another factor that's in his favor, or should be, right? Mm-hmm. So, all right. Okay, but so I still want to see what I think is the next book. Even if the next book comes out in timely fashion, there may still be at least some gap before the books catch up to the show. What are you going to do in that period when that happens? What's going to happen to your website if you choose one?
Well, I mean, I will watch the show if the show outpaces the books. It's not my preferred way of discovering for the first time how some of the major stuff ends, but I don't see how I would be able to avoid it. I mean, the show is so big and so popular, and of course, being involved in a website that covers this stuff, we're going to have readers that are also viewers that'll know this stuff already, and I don't see how I'd be able to avoid it unless I went and lived in a cave in Pakistan or something,
Well, remember the U.S. government is listening to this, though. So.
That's the thing. If it caught up, in a perfect world, I'd be like, no, I can stop watching the television show and I can enjoy it from the books where I started the journey. But because of each of us is so involved in these websites, it just seems so impossible to be able to avoid anything. You'd
have to unfollow every person on every site that you've ever been on. Affiliates themselves with.
Yeah.
And even then, it would come up in like Conan O'Brien would make some joke.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
it's a huge cultural phenomenon now. You can't even avoid it in mainstream media sources.
Yeah, I think the Red Wedding really changed everything, and I think it's now just more or less just out there, even more than it was before, where you have like all these Parks and Rec references to it and things. Like the Red Wedding instantly became like part of like the lexicon the day after it aired. So it's one of those things where even if you do like whole, because I could, I mean, my site is a hobby, and I do enough freelance stuff that I could avoid. I'll just write about Mad Men instead that year, which I did anyway this year. But there's other things I can write about. But even then, you can't. How could you ever avoid it? On the final season of any of these big shows is always nuts. So I don't think it can be done.
Besides, I need my weekly Twitter report too. I couldn't give that. From Winter Is Coming.
It's like the most popular things on our site now. It's great.
I think it's going to depend on how far it looks.
Dude, it takes me like 2 days to write those frickin' 2, maybe 3 days just to get everything in order. Because you'd think that people would tweet in order, but they don't.
It's most appreciated because it's not just the tweets; it's the witty repartee in between that really makes it.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just hoping we get to the situation and it'll be like, 6 months later the book is coming out, and then it's like a time frame that's doable. So that's the issue. If it's going to be like years of a time frame, then nobody will be able to be involved in the websites and keep it going. You'd have to either take a break or stay there, which is.
Well, the thing is, I think George will kind of start to get to know if he's close or not, and if he isn't, I think him being an experienced screenwriter, I think he will take probably a more active role then in the show and finishing it up the proper way, and maybe he'll get to write 2 or even maybe 3 episodes per season at the very end. So I can't say that that it would be. It obviously it's not going to be exactly as the books are, but I don't think it's going to be hugely divergent either. So I think getting it out on the TV show and making sure that's done well, that's only going to help sell more books. So
I agree, and I mean, it wouldn't do too much harm to the narrative, probably, because like you said, I mean, yes, they do get a fair number of lines from the book in here and there, and some of the scenes are straight out of the book, but there's so much divergence too that as long as he at least has some of the last book written before they get to the last season, it'll probably kind of be the same mix where this was in the book, this wasn't in the book, this is done a little differently, so.
But they do seem to be hitting all the key moments, which is what scares me.
Yeah.
Just like with the part where Danny kills John or vice versa. Like.
Oh, sure. But I think they'll have enough advance notice on those key moments. I would hope that he might even work ahead a little bit in a case like that and actually write out some of those key moments to make sure that they have something that resembling it on the show. So
it's possible.
But definitely would prefer the books to come out first, certainly.
Right. That's the best case scenario. I just don't see it happening. But boy, I would revel in all of you pointing at me and laughing, and we could have a whole episode of a podcast of Ice and Fire of everybody mocking Fabio for being so horribly wrong and not having the faith in George R. R. Martin that he should have. And I would love it. I would.
So I said I think it's doable. There's just no margin for error. If he gets a Winds for Runner out next year, and he can do the last book in 3 years. I mean, he wrote A Storm of Swords in 3 years. Then I think he's going to make it. But I don't think any other time frame works.
I see you've all put your stuff in the document, and Elio did earlier. He said month, when, year, it's finished.
Oh, that's so Elio.
Maybe the final book will come out the day the final season starts. We can get them at the same time.
If I were them, I would go for that kind of synergy. Absolutely.
Well, and, if he does get it done in time, I think it is going to be something like that. I mean, I think they're going to be stacked right on top of each other.
Agreed.
Cool.
If he makes it.
You watch the first episode, get the first part of the book spoiled for you, and then everyone will read the book that week. Ready for the next episode.
Well, remember
Or he
when
purposely changes everything after the last season, the episode ends, so that the book readers are completely not. Wouldn't that be funny?
Well, remember when the pilot, or premiere, whatever you would call it, when it's actually aired, they put out an ebook of the material covered in that first hour, which I thought was incredibly smart. So I certainly think they'll put something together like that if they feel it behooves them.
Interesting.
Cool.
All right, Amin, what's next on the list?
Far into the books here. Enough of this show chat. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's separate the grown-ups from the little children.
I had a quick question I wanted to ask is how exactly do the whites work in moving them through the wall? Like, is it that like people dying on the other side of the wall or can come back and you bring them through? It works, but just compare like John putting the guys in the cellar and they didn't come back. Is it because they died on this side of the wall?
I always took the guys, because they were in the wall, they were encased in the magic as well, and that made them not able to reanimate.
Right.
Yes.
But they didn't even have to be in the wall, though, right? They're on this side of the wall. Like, where did those guys die? The guys that he puts in the cell. Where did they die? One of the Wiki of Ice and Fire.
Those are details I don't remember.
Well,
I'm like, wow.
No, weren't they? They died on the other side of the
reread that
wall, and he put them on ice to see what would happen. Right? He wanted to watch them reanimate.
So they died on the north side of the wall.
North.
Yeah.
So these were wildlings that died on the north side of the wall, and he brought them in, and because they're in the wall, they didn't come back. But if he had brought them through, then they
would have come back. Yes.
I mean, we've already had proof, way back in the first book that a white can, once it's through the wall, can reanimate again. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not really the wall. Like, it's okay. Why don't they just swim around the wall then? Like.
The water's magic.
Well, there's dead things in the water, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they're getting ready to. Stay tuned.
Okay, let's move on then into.
Well, I feel like we really authoritatively answered that question.
I know. Wow, that was
they're in the wall.
Here's the brain trust we've assembled for this episode. All right.
Right.
East Watch by the Sea. Oh, not East Watch.
Wait, there were people put in the wall in the fifth book? No.
They put John in there, right?
No, just kidding.
Wait, there are whites? What?
Wait, there's a wall in this series? What's it there for?
It's not that tall. Don't
If
worry.
Elio had been here, he would have answered it. I'm going to blame Elio.
Yeah.
I know. Elio would have known.
Elio
we
would have
don't
been
know
like,
anything,
oh,
just
he'd been
Elio.
like, yeah, keep reading. Like that's what he would.
No.
Yeah.
Shaking his luscious ponytail.
All right. Well, moving on to the others, I wanted us to vote on where they came from, and here are the options. One is that they were some sort of independent race that existed separate from the children of forest. Two is were twisted children of the forest, or somehow created by the children. Or three, that they're from like outer space, from George's sci-fi world. So
3. I've never actually given any thought to the origin of the others. I just kind of felt like it was just that evil presence that, always exists in the world, sort of fantasy trope.
I assume they have a more complicated history with the children than that, judging from the stuff George has said about not wanting to do Dark Lords who are evil for evil's sake. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a-holes, the same way that, the Boltons and the Starks have had a complicated history, but, the Boltons are shitheads. I don't have a problem saying the others are probably shitheads compared to the children. I don't know. I guess I kind of assumed they were a separate race and had bad blood. I don't think it's the kind of thing where how, like in Green Lantern, the Guardians of the Galaxy, there's all these offshoot races of little blue people who are taller or thinner or shorter or greener or have different color rings that they send out into the, I don't think they're offshoots of the same evolutionary branch. I think they're separate races with a history. But I assume they're native to Westeros, just like the children and the giants.
I love the Green Lantern reference. Nice. Well played, sir.
My pleasure.
Fabio and Alex, what's your views?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I definitely don't think they're from outer space. I think that there's some complicated relationship between them and the children of the forest. Especially since after the fifth book, man, I'm not sure that Bran and Bloodraven aren't maybe on the wrong team there, and that they.
Ooh.
And,
very interesting.
And since that's related to the children of the forest as well, I mean, I think there's some definite complex history there.
Wow, that's an interesting theory. I'm sorry, go ahead, Fabio.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with aliens, man. I'm liking that now. Yeah, they're aliens.
Well, I mean, we were talking about this with Elio one time.
The great alien.
It's like a lot of authors make the mistake of trying to tie all their works together in the end, and he's done a lot of sci-fi works. So if he tries to tie like Westeros into the sci-fi world, that we will have to do it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
But the thing is, we know about like some of these stories about how they bred with people and stuff like that, and I feel like a lot of times those are false, but there's some nugget of truth. I mean, like what is going on with Craster, for example, and the kids?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely something going on there because babies don't make very good whites. So
I just assume they kill them because they like killing people. Like, I never really thought of it as they're raising the children to become...
I think you're slandering the others here. I mean, they killed Waymar, but even then they give him a one-on-one fight. Like,
well, they bring the dead back to life to murder people.
We don't know what their full motivation is. Like, they're doing bad, but any worse than the Game of Thrones. I guess it's because they could kill all humans.
I mean, let's face it. If the Lorax had the ability to raise the dead, he'd have done the same thing. Would that have made the Lorax bad? No.
Probably. Maybe it would have. I don't. Well, I mean, the thing about Craster is, he has a reason to leave his male children out, in the winter air anyway, which is to eliminate competition. So I don't really know how much
to do it, but why do the others have such a reason to do it? I mean, do they really need just a few more babies?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the idea. People think that they're raising the children to adulthood, right? But now they're going to serve some kind of special purpose.
Well, I don't know that they're necessarily raising them to adulthood, but they're probably a catalyst for something. I don't think it's about.
So it's like blood magic.
That's one
maybe they're they're performing some ritual with them.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, or something. I mean, I think it's very possible because.
My only cause for skepticism there is that you never at any time hear any wildlings talking about the others or the whites raiding villages and taking away children or taking away infants, and you'd think that they would if they are truly collecting human babies for some sort of catalytic purpose.
Well, we have stories in the past that they would do that, though. They would, take babies or...
I thought it was, eating them.
They would lay with human women and have, half human offspring or...
Right.
It was just mostly bullshit, but there might be something there. There's always, a nugget of truth there.
That's true, but we haven't heard about that either from the wildling camp. We've certainly heard about them, wiping out towns and stuff and attacking the train as it winds its way.
No, I agree with that, but that's what I think makes the situation with Craster's Keep so interesting is that they're letting him
live.
Be.
Yeah.
I mean, the wildlings are desperate. There would be other wildlings that would be desperate enough to sacrifice their babies to try to stay alive if they knew that was your get out of jail free card, so to speak. and so there does seem to be a special relationship here for some reason.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, Craster is right in the middle of this Venn diagram where the Night's Watch leaves him alone, the other wildlings leave him alone, and the others leave him alone. And he's just some a-hole who rapes his daughters. Craster is a very weird character when you give him any thought at all.
Oh, Craster is just this guy,
He's an evil Tom Bombadil.
The evil Tom Bombadil. Nice.
Here's the other question about the others. I seem to recall Ygritte talking about how they let them loose or something. They were locked up in vaults or they were looking for something, the horn. And they got out.
I took that to mean that they were opening crypts looking for treasures, and because they opened those crypts, the bodies that were in those crypts could be reanimated as whites by the others. That's how I took that.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's possible.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just trying to think of why was that even worth mentioning, really? there's people dying all the time. Why do they have to open crypts to...
Because, I mean, the wildlings needed to get south to escape the others. And they were looking in the crypts to get the horn to bring down the wall to escape to the south to escape the others. So the others had to have already been there before they started opening crypts.
Okay, well that would make sense. I don't know. I don't remember the quote. If someone can open it up while we move on. Do you have anything else on the others then? Or
Well, I just want to add that
Stuff.
for the whole end game. I mean, if we're talking an end game,
Sure.
George definitely likes. I don't think he sees them as an ultimate evil either. We're going to eventually. I do think there's going to be some sort of Children of the Forest tie-in with them, because the Reeds were along with Bran for this journey, and they kind of were his spirit guides, sending him this direction and helping him get there. And I think definitely the Reeds have a Children of the Forest connection to them. So I think that's going to sort of all tie up in a certain way. My thoughts with regard to how the whole thing is going to end, though, and something that George has often said in interviews is how he's been interested in the fact that that history always favors the victors, and that we only hear this. We hear the tales as told through the victor's eyes. So if the Starks never do make it back, how are they going to be viewed? Are we going to be getting stories from the Lannister version of Old Nan 100 years from now, talking about evil Queen Sansa of the North, and Arya the murderess of thousands, and Bran the Stark who allied with the Great Other and shit like that? So I mean, everyone wants to see the end, but I want to see what George R. R. Martin is looking at as what is quote unquote the end of his story here.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think you talk about Song of Ice and Fire. One of those things is John, but the other thing could be like these two forces working there, R'hllor and the other. But I suspect like R'hllor isn't that much better than the other than the fact that maybe he's more good for
exactly.
people. Like people, I mean, more people will survive under R'hllor because he seems to like life or like living stuff. But otherwise, they're not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean,
They like sacrificing it too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't really know that, and I've never really believed that we should take it for granted that there is a great other. People talk about that like it's an article of faith, which is exactly what it is, no more, no less. And it's a way, I think, for followers of R'hllor to personify evil, but that doesn't mean that they're right, that there is this personified force any more than the Ironborn are correct that there's a storm god in opposition to the drowned god, and things of that nature. I'm skeptical, and I'm certainly skeptical of building from that into then there has to be an Antichrist figure, and who's mortal and who's on Earth and who's doing the Great Other's bidding, or who is the Great Other incarnate, and that's Bloodraven, or it's Bran, or it's who is it? I don't know. I don't think that person exists. I'm not even convinced that R'hllor exists. I've always wondered if R'hllor is just a name given to a collection of symptoms, effectively, of fire magic, and the human brain sought an explanation for why these things exist in this world and came up with this Lord of Light, or Red God, and took it from there. But, these things may exist for a reason that's a little bit more down to earth, sort of like how the old gods are a sort of a collective godhead that emerges from the lingering consciousness of Greenseers and Children of the Forest embedded in Weirwoods. It's like this combination of things. It's almost like a nervous system, more than it's a bunch of what we would consider to be actual gods. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm not convinced R'hllor exists either, but I do, like, as you said, there's something there, not R'hllor the entity, but there's people doing or working with that force. There's like a fire force there. It might not be a god, but there's a faction. There's a fire faction and there's an ice faction. Whereas like that have drawing to something. When you talk about like the drowned god or things like that, we don't really have much example there other than like Patchface if he's doing something. There's or the Seven. The Seven don't really have any real magical power. They just have like the people doing stuff.
I just want to get to the end. I want to know the answers. Damn it.
But I do like what we found in the 5th book about the old gods and the tree network and all that. I thought that was really cool.
The tree network, the tree internet back in the day.
Can you see me now? Good. Can you see me now? Good.
Have any of you read A Song for Laia by George? Have any of you read that? It's a short story.
I'm bad. I haven't read any of his other works.
I highly recommend reading it because if you read A Song for Laia, you actually can see something kind of similar to the old gods system. Like you can see that he's worked with these ideas before and he's refined them in this work. Like there's something similar to that in Song for Laia. A lot of his short stories are worth reading. He has one where it's like Space Dothraki. the Dothraki, but they're in space. So
Dothraki in
Dothraki in
space.
I just picture them like Klingons.
yeah, kind of.
Kepler.
Well, I think there were a lot of Klingon jokes, based on Jason Momoa's extravagantly arched eyebrows. Back in the day.
All right, powering through here. Remember, but I wanted to see voting on the pink or scarlet letter that John receives. Who do you think wrote it? Say it now.
Oh my god, I need to reread. The pink or scarlet letter. I get it now. What? Remind me, what's going on?
Whether or not we think
The shocking lack of
whether or not we think Ramsay Bolton actually wrote it.
Sure. What do you think? What's your idea?
I will say that my initial... I tend to take a lot of things at face value when I first read the books, and then after some thinking, I start to wonder. I think I would say that... Yeah, it just seems it seems difficult to countenance the idea of Ramsay Bolton defeating Stannis in 7 days of battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
We know that that banker shows up to talk to Stannis, right? So we know that things are probably not going as what happened in the letter, right? Because Stannis knows that the enemy is coming. So you can extrapolate from that things are not as simple as the letter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think he wrote it because who else's advantage is it to write a letter like that? But I don't think things happened in that manner.
No.
Certainly.
I think
Yes,
Sean's view was you said before is maybe Stannis wrote it to try to get Jon down there, and I meet you halfway. I think Stannis might have been spreading rumors, and then those rumors are actually believed by Ramsay, and then he wrote it down.
That seems an awful lot of duplicity for Stannis.
Well, it would have been awful if he was trying to bring Jon down, but if he's just trying to pretend that he's lost a battle to his advantage, that's just military tactics to like pretend that he's lost.
Stannis. Here's the thing. Stannis is a guy who, I don't know. It's duplicitous, yeah, but he's a guy for whom the ends do justify the means, and he's not asking Jon to be an oath breaker. Like this is sort of a separate debate whether Jon is breaking his oath to the Watch by leading these forces down from the wall to confront Ramsay. And I always wish that the book had gone to greater lengths to point out that no, not really. Castle Black is built to be indefensible from the south. And so if Ramsay and his crazy Boltons come marching up the King's Road and attack Castle Black, they'll wipe out the Night's Watch and the Wildlings and the Queen's Men. There's no way for them to defend themselves, except if they happen to prevail through sheer force of numbers or whatever. And so that is defending the Wall and the Watch to do the unexpected and to counterattack against this force that has announced its intention to murder the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
But this force said, like, if you meet these conditions, then we won't bother you, right? So they didn't.
The conditions are I, the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, will take a bunch of women and children and offer ourselves up to someone who will torture us to death. Like, I don't think that's reasonable to expect of him. I don't think that would be keeping his oath to take people who are in his charge, children, and have them murdered. Like, you could make that argument that it's for the, you can make a utilitarian argument that it's for the greater good. But I think a different solution presents itself, which would be to cut this threat to the Watch off at the root. I'm very pro-John. What can I say?
And the problem is because he's doing a preemptive strike, it's harder to justify than if he was actually being attacked. It's not
even a preemptive strike, though. The guy said, you have 3 days and I'm going to come and murder all of you. And he's like, well, I'll tell you what. I'll come and murder you first. Like, that's not a preemptive strike. That's like, okay, you've challenged me to a fight. I'm going to fight you on my terms rather than yours.
Yes.
I mean, I guess you have to you have to interpret the oath of protecting the kids, because otherwise it's just not his involvement. He can't get involved. If you go by the rule of the law and just say you can't get involved in the South,
right? But if the Lannisters were to ride up to the wall and say, sorry guys, you don't exist anymore, we're taking you out, like, they can't say, like, well, we don't get involved, so all right, here's our next. Like, they have to.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
in this case, Jon already got the Night's Watch involved in stuff that they weren't supposed to be. So in that case,
right.
he's essentially committed treason against his oaths, and then Ramsay's in his rights to exact retribution on him for that. That's Jon started it.
right, I just want to go through a final. Okay, here's the people that had the information to write the letter: Ramsay, Roose, Stannis, Mance, and Melisandre. Those are all the potential people that had the information. I can't think of anyone else.
Well, anyone in the Bolton camp, because when Theon leaves the Boltons at Winterfell, they've found out about the Spearwives and presumably therefore they've figured out about Mance. So at some point, if
Mance and the kid, like all the things listed there, like why would they even know about that unless they were?
They could have tortured it out of Mance.
But like other than Ramsay and Roose, like who else is of importance that would?
The thing is, once after that happens, presuming that there's a battle, people from the Boltons at Winterfell and people from Stannis at wherever the hell Stannis was will have gotten together and can pool their information, whether it's the Manderleys, turning on the Boltons and Freys and willingly giving up this information if Stannis wins, or whether it's some Bolton force being forced to give up the information if Stannis wins, or whether it's some force of Stannis being forced to give up the information if Stannis loses. At a certain point after the events that we've seen, those two groups are going to come together forcibly, and a lot of information can be exchanged. So it's not just down to the 4 or 5 people who know right now. Eventually they'll be able to pool their resources, and a lot more people will have been made aware of what's going on.
Yeah, I think the key point is Mance and the kid. I mean, they will be able to find that, but the question is that going to be broadcast? Who gets it out of there? Like, you can see Ramsay and Roose torturing it out of them, but are they going to be able to get that to other people?
I'm just...
Is it even in question whether or not he currently has Mance? Is that in question, or?
Well, I mean, Mance was there the last time we saw him. He was there with Roose, and he was playing music or something. So either they could have got him and tortured him, or
so they were having a party.
Or Mance could have somehow got away, and he's writing this letter to get his kid back. It's a question of why the hell they want the kid. I guess he's a useful hostage, but even so.
See, I thought it was all verisimilitude. They put in a lot of stuff in Ramsay's unique voice and a lot of information that he could conceivably have figured out if he beat Stannis. But then a lot of disinformation just to show that he doesn't know everything, because Jon wouldn't expect him to know everything. I mean, it's really 12-dimensional chess that you have to play to figure out. If it really is the ruse that I think it is, I grant you fully that I'm making a lot of assumptions about how perfectly they can dissemble.
Right. Littlefinger, where's he? He could have figured this all out.
Littlefinger would have. Maybe it was Littlefinger.
That's true. It probably was Littlefinger.
I'm not saying it was him. I'm just saying he could have figured this all out for us.
We're injecting this forcibly into the fandom from now on. Littlefinger wrote the pink letter.
That's right.
Sansa made Littlefinger go up to the north to explore. They went to the Boltons. They wrote this letter. There was some music playing. It was a good evening.
Martin thought it was such a good idea that the show made it where Littlefinger could appear anywhere magically that he decided to incorporate it into his own novels. So now Littlefinger can show up anywhere, and time and distance doesn't matter.
He's got his TARDIS, and he just shows up.
But doesn't he ask for he asked for his wife back, right? That letter? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he loves her.
I mean, does he actually think the wife is up there? He asked for his wife back. If you actually think his wife is up north and he's lacking information, you can kind of see what's happened from the letter.
He's just trying to sound like a human being asking for his wife.
No, but I mean, where is the wife?
Well, right, but the point is, if Stannis had been defeated, then most likely Jane would have been recaptured, and Theon would have been recaptured. And so that's why it points to there not actually having been a defeat of Stannis. He kind of, I think, automatically, whoever wrote the letter is automatically assuming that because wildlings were involved and because it was supposedly Jon's sister, even though it wasn't, that it was Jon that was, orchestrating all of this.
Right.
Which is the logical thing to believe, and so didn't think that they were fleeing back to Stannis, but that they were actually fleeing towards the wall, which is, of course, what they would have done if things had gone according to plan.
Yeah, and it was an Arya rescue mission. That's what it was. It just happens that we know that it was, and Theon knows that it's not Arya.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's a brilliant writing by George there with that letter.
It is, man. That is rich stuff.
Baby, I wrote you a letter.
All right, powering through. We're almost at intermission here.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Who poisoned the locusts? Who we have the candidates? The locusts that Danny almost ate. We have Hisdar, the Green Grace, Shave Pate, somebody else in Yonkai, Zarazone Daxos, one of Quentin's companions, or Resnak Mo Resnak is the one that Elio suggested.
Man. Without rereading Dance, these names are like, what?
For me, I think the
I'm actually
only
going to go
ones
with Resnack too. I think
make
it's
any
Resnack.
kind of sense would be Hisdar or Resnick. I don't think any of the others are too credible on their face.
Mm.
But
So
why did Resnack do it? Is it because now he thinks it's stable with Hisdar that he don't need Danny anymore?
Exactly. Get Danny out of the picture as quickly as possible before she has a chance to influence anything else. I mean,
So you think the Shave Pate's obedience is an act, or do you think he's obedient to a point because his fortunes have improved? And now
I don't think it can't be an act. I don't think, because he's gone way too far.
Right.
There is no going back from some of the things that he did.
Right.
I mean, unless he went in and chopped off the heads of all 3 dragons and chopped off Daenerys' head and single-handedly killed 8,000 Unsullied,
Yeah. So why would he?
no coming back?
So why would he poison?
Okay, no, Resnack is different from the Shave.
Yeah, Resnick is not the Shave Pate. Resnick is the Seneschal.
Right.
I don't. That's why I don't think the Shave Pate is credible as a poisoner. I don't see the gain for him.
Yeah, they talk about that. In fact, right? Don't they say that like he's too far gone if Daenerys is removed, then he's got nothing.
They say about the Shave Pate, and I initially thought that as well. Is that he's too far gone. He's converted to this new thing, but he's just been put out of power and he's put in a bad situation. In that situation, maybe he would rather cause some chaos and see what happens. Because look what happened to him now.
He doubled down after Daenerys vanished.
But if Daenerys dies, he could still be like the supporter of like the martyr, Daenerys the martyr. And look, he's with Barristan. He has control of the army now, so it worked out for him in the end.
Oh, I agree. It worked out very well for him in the end. But I think either Hisdar or Resnack.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning toward Resnack because it just would be more amusing if Hisdar didn't even know about it. It's just Resnack doing it. I mean, you have that warning from like.
Well, he did say, "Beware the perfumed Seneschal."
Yeah, and that's only 2 possible things, right? He's either that guy or the ship. But it seems like the ship hasn't done anything, or Tyrion hasn't done anything yet, right?
Right.
So it seems like Resnack is the one that would do it. Ooh, we got an alarm.
The ship also had Makoro on it, though.
That is an old-fashioned telephone. It'll go away in a second.
That is a very old-fashioned telephone.
So is everyone voting Resnack then on this one?
Johnny Resnack.
Yeah, I'll go with Resnack.
Fabio?
Resnack.
Resnack.
Okay, I think we have enough people to issue a warrant for him. So
Issue a warrant.
And what is he up to right now? He's still there, right? He's still like part of the council or whatever.
It happened to Resnack.
Yeah.
What is he doing right now?
The thing about the Shave Pate theory that I found interesting is it seemed like everyone's like, oh yeah, Barristan's like doing it all, but if he's being played by the Shave Pate, it's kind of interesting because he himself worries about how he's not good at the Game of Thrones. So that was an interesting theory I remember reading. But
yeah, he's still around. I think Resnack. Nothing's been done to him yet.
Okay. By the way, who here hasn't given their view on the Barristan versus Dario fight? Like I think we've all done that, except I don't know if Fabio hasn't. Sean, you did before with us, right?
Oh,
I'm
Barristan.
sorry, I cut off briefly there, guys.
Yeah. Barristan versus Dario, Fabio. Who wins?
I'm going Barristan.
Yeah.
Fist pump.
All right.
Okay. Moving on. Do we want an intermission now, or are we good for 1 or 2 more things before intermission?
I'm good.
Good. Okay.
Let's go.
Let's spice things up here. This theory thing is kind of like dying here. We gotta reawaken the manwoody here. So let's jump ahead. I'm gonna jump ahead to we're gonna go through we've done council kind of stuff before, but what we're gonna do now is, especially since we got all these unfortunately we recorded this other episode as well, and it was like old guys. We're having all this guy dominated stuff. It's kind of like. It was like when I was watching, they were having the contraception debates in the States, and they had this panel on contraception. It was all these old guys, which is
right.
so ironic. Stupid. But I mean, if we're going to have old guys here.
Let's contraception. Let's do
Let's
it.
do contraception policy and moon tea limits.
Oh, yeah.
Access to moon tea.
Well.
Is the state going to fund access to moon tea, or is it everyone has to? But let's try to do at least something to help, to get around this. So what we're going to do is imagine a scenario where Sansa has become queen, okay? Sansa is queen of Westeros, and she's creating her council, but unlike all our Sausage Fest councils in the past, we're going to try to get one that's at least female equal or female dominated for the council.
Okay.
So let's jump down to it's in the file.
Let's talk about the ladies.
So we're starting with the council and, the Kingsguard, Master of Ships, all of that. So Let's start. Which one do we want to start with?
Start with the hand.
Okay, who is the hand in this scenario?
Now we're
Sansa
talking. Now
is-
Sansa is queen of all of Westeros, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And has any amount of time passed?
This is like, that's a good question. But I guess it's hard to predict who's going to be alive later on.
Right.
Let's-
That's what I have to.
If
that's what I have to
Sansa is queen, are we assuming Daenerys is not a factor anymore?
Daenerys has died of dysentery in the desert.
Okay. Well then, I nominate Missandei for Sansa's hand.
For hand. Ooh, that's
Whoa,
pretty- maybe-
Missandei, sexy
she should be
Missandei.
master of tongues, maybe, or something, but not.
Well, I have a different.
Whoa.
No, you're thinking of,
Can't handle this.
you're thinking of
No,
Eerie.
the book Missandei is much younger than the hottie they have playing her on the show, so you need to relax there, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
I was thinking
Slow
of the
your
show.
roll.
The hand of Sansa, huh?
Well, I am in all seriousness nominating Missandei, who by that point will be a little bit older and more experienced, and and has is a trusted
Essos,
advisor
like,
to
what-
Daenerys.
like,
And
what's I mean, you got to think about the effect of having somebody from Essos as your hand. Like when you're not Essos dominant.
I just assume things will be so different at this point that
Right.
it's a different world.
Stick with your choice. Missandei is
Yes.
from him. I was thinking somewhere it needs to be Jenna Lannister. Now I had her for Master of Coin, but maybe hand. But maybe Master of Coin is better because she can draw upon the Lannister funds.
What about the Tyrell ladies? Is Queen of Thorns still around?
Thorns, yeah.
Or Marjorie?
Oh well, the Queen of Thorns could be Master of Coin.
Ooh.
Oh no, she's too.
I wouldn't put her in Master of. I mean, I would have her on the council, but I was saying if we're gonna have Jenna Lannister on the council, I'd maybe put her in Master of Coin just because of the Lannister connection, right?
Yeah, I like that actually. Gemma Lannister,
Yeah, sure.
Master of Coin.
Cool.
Yep.
But we do want Queen of Thorns somewhere, probably, right? Like she's got ability.
I think she's dead
She'd
by
be
then.
a good.
She's
Well,
the
if she's still
Grandniece.
alive, I think she'd be a good hand.
If she's
Yeah.
still alive.
Yeah,
sure.
that's the kind of person you want as your hand. Politically experienced, savvy.
Missandei or Queen of Thorns? There's no difference between the two.
Well, we can put a couple of them down there. Like, yeah. No, I think we have to get to a consensus at the end for this, so we can because people are going to be like critiquing our council, so we need to have a
Right.
consensus in the end. So we have Missandei or Queen of Thorns, but I think I'm saying like we put Missandei somewhere else.
Or
in
we
the
could
council.
end up with our own War of the Five Kings because we all choose different councils and
The War of the Five Queens.
Right.
yeah.
have a banner with Missandei on like a big M.
I already do. No.
Well, look at Missandei's
Oh, do
power
like
base
him.
and the Queen of Thorns power base, right? You got to like when you make a council, you have to think about politics. It's
right,
not
but-
just ability; it's also
Here-
families and power base.
Here, the issue could be that the Queen of Thorns is too self-interested because she does have her own power base. Missandei, you can count on to be loyal because she doesn't.
She has no political acumen.
Missandei? I don't know. Daenerys trusts her.
She's one of those hippie butterfly people.
Oh, that's
Put
true.
Missandei as Master of Whispers because she can talk to everybody. Like, she has-
Well, I have an idea for the Master of Whisperers.
okay.
A faceless man named Arya Stark.
Whoa.
She also could be Executioner though. As well.
That's
That's
not on
true.
here.
What is that official title again? Ilan Payne's title? It's like, is it just
The
the
King's. You would need
King's
the Queen's Justice.
yeah, well, Queen's Justice.
Let's put
Oh.
Queen's Justice in here as
It's
an option.
justice.
I think Brienne gets Queen's Justice.
Well, I think we're putting her.
It's Commander,
Kingsguard
Lord Commander of the
Commander.
Queensguard. Lady
Right.
Commander of the Queensguard.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh, interesting. I didn't even think of that. I was thinking of gosh, she has so many names now. It's not Yara. Asha or
Master of Ships is Asher.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
Put that in here.
but who else was the Kingsguard? What I was thinking of? I was thinking of Mormont there. What's her name?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
For the
H-
Queen's Guard, I was
Oh,
hoping to get especially regional representation for the Queen's Guard to try to.
well, let's put that aside then for
Let's
now.
put aside
Yeah,
for
but you
now.
have to be a knight to be. I mean, I know there's the whole Sandor thing, but technically, you have to be a knight.
Well,
to be
under
Queen's
Queen
True.
Sansa's rule, women can become knights now. So.
well, right, but the Northerners don't become knights. That's the problem. With them.
But then it's not required anymore to be a knight.
Because Sansa is a Northerner.
Right.
We're just throwing all the rules out the window.
We're almost done the council here. Let's see. So, but is anyone else supporting Missandei for a hand here, or can we?
We can
just
get
have
rid of
full
Missandei and say
yeah.
the Queen of Thorns.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Good.
Yeah.
But we do want to have Missandei in there somewhere. So where are we going to put Missandei?
Boy, I don't know that we can
Maybe
fit her
she's
now.
maybe she's the new
Assos diplomat.
Spider. She's the Black Widow.
Maybe she's a
She
diplomat.
takes Varys' place.
She's like the Essos diplomat or something, or representative.
Like a you
Mistress
would probably
of
need a more.
Whisperers.
Sorry, what were we doing here?
Well, I still like Arya for Master of Whisperers.
Okay.
I kind of like her as the Queen's Justice.
Maybe she does both jobs. Like they will combine. we gotta cut back on government spending here, so we're gonna combine them.
Should put down a different face for each one.
The Grand Maester has to be Alaris the Sphinx, right?
Yeah.
She is, as best we know, the only woman at the Citadel.
Allegedly
right
a woman.
Right.
I mean, we don't. I mean, I certainly believe that has to be Sorella, but we don't know that it's Sorella.
Master of Horrors seems obviously Shataya, right?
Yeah.
I still think it's pretty funny that we elevated that to a small council level position last time I was on this show. Master of Horrors
Game of
is now.
Thrones has taught us anything, it's the importance of horrors in the story.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Don't anyone dare say Roz, by the way. Okay.
I like Roz. I ride for Roz, man.
She's going to show up. George is going to write her in somehow, some way. We'll see her on the page.
So who would be the Master of Laws? Who
is a lawful? Definitely
well,
not.
just think. I'm just trying to think who is someone who's experienced in like running their area, does a good job at it.
Definitely not Martell.
Maybe like one of the Mormons, but not law though. Maybe put her in a commander. Laws.
No, there's someone on the tip of my tongue who is a woman who runs.
It's either probably Dorne. There's lots of. Okay, Sean is trying to remember female leaders in the books that were ruling areas. Can you try to remember here?
See, I would lean towards Arianne, but then one of her sisters is Grand Maester, and that seems like consolidating too much.
No, but there was somebody else in your mind you can't remember.
Now I can't remember it. No,
that's a cousin, not a sister.
Yeah, everybody's related in this one.
Unless I was thinking like Alice Karstark. But we don't, we just, because she has literally brought together the wildlings and the North, that might not be a bad idea. Or an actual Val!
Val!
Val will be like as Master of Laws, she like her law. She didn't even have.
Yeah, you're right.
They're kind of against the whole idea of law.
That doesn't make a lick of sense. Well, maybe we need.
That's putting people who don't believe in government in charge of the government. Oh wait, then like
that happens routinely. Maybe we need. Do we need separate positions for someone who is sort of as you said, like a liaison to Essos and a liaison to the wildlings?
Let's put that in here, because see, this is Sansa's like being more diplomatic here and is more intelligent than the past council. So
right.
You would have.
I'm just wondering who's going to be the master of lemon cakes. The person whose sole job it is to keep the queen supplied with lemon cakes. That's really going to be even more important than the hand, I think, in this administration.
Well, I think the woman who runs the Inn at the Crossroads will be the master of lemon cakes.
That's Hot Pie now.
Bring Hot Pie back.
Hot Pie. Okay, yeah. Okay,
Hot Pie is our token dude.
Isn't the woman who chews too much sour leaf?
She's dead.
She did.
Oh,
she died.
Oh no! I forgot. And you destroyed me again.
Masha Heddle.
And as far as I know, she's still hanging from that gibbet.
That's right.
Master of Laws. Shoot.
We're still looking at Master of Laws here. That's good.
Stoneheart.
Oh,
Not so much family nepotism here, putting like Arya in two positions, and
that's more necrotism than nepotism, right there.
Okay, there's one other one we have to fill is Master of Magic. Maybe Melisandre if she's still around, because magic is going to be more important now. Yeah, we got Master of Laws. Who would be good of Master of Laws person? No, not Lysa Arryn. Nobody from the Arryns.
No.
Well, she's dead, but
yeah. Well, maybe Alice Karstark. Maybe if she gets older.
Miranda Royce, she seems kind of fun.
Well, maybe she'll put her in the Queensguard. But
I don't know. Alice Karstark seems to have a good head on her shoulders. Yeah. I just feel like I'm missing someone super obvious who like runs their shit. And
well, who are the
female?
I guess we're missing Marjorie, but I mean she's probably dead.
Yeah, I'm kind of assuming she's dead. Yeah, Marcella, I'm also kind of assuming is dead.
Yeah. Well, who are the female leaders in the books? I mean, there's the Mormon ladies that rule there. In the North, is anybody else?
I mean, there aren't that many. I mean, there's
Lady Dustin. Lady Dustin as Master of Law.
Oh,
Lady Dustin.
I don't think she would consent to serve in a Stark administration for some reason.
No, exactly.
Yeah, so she's actually
she'd flounce. No, I think maybe. Now I'm really tempted to go back to Arianne because I don't know.
I don't see her the most law one still. I think she's
Marcella.
I think Marcella's dead.
Yeah,
she did.
You think she's dead?
Well, one is the prophecies, two is like how we get here, right? Like she's probably. But then again, why is Jenna Lannister doing here? But they made maybe a peace with the Lannisters, so.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm assuming this is like a completely ecumenical body that is bringing together all the major houses, all the major regions, has representation from Essos, has representation from north of the Wall.
I do think Alice Karstark is a good pick to have somewhere. Like, I mean, she's a master of law. I mean, she believes in laws.
No, and she figured out the whole situation with her stupid family and uncles and shit.
And I mean, we do want to kind of we don't want to make it all northern people, but it is nice to bring people that you can trust from the north to back you up.
Fuck it then, man. Let's say Alice Karstark.
Okay, so who wants to read out our council here? We need somebody to read it out. Kyle?
All right, we've got the Hand of the Queen as the Queen of Thorns. The Kingsguard commander is Brienne the Beauty. Master of Ships is Asha Greyjoy. Master of Coin is Jenna Lannister. Master of Laws is Alice Karstark. Master of Whisperers, Arya Stark. Grand Maester is Sorella / Alaris. How do you say that?
Alaris, I guess?
Alaris. Queen's Justice, Arya Stark. Oh, Arya's twice, huh? Oh, that's because she's a woman of many faces. Master of Magic, in a more magical world, is Melisandre. Master of Whores is Chitaya. And Master of Lemon Cakes is Hot Pie.
Hot Pie.
I think that's all these ladies and Hot Pie.
And Hot Pie.
And then
Hot
we have
Pie's going to be happy, right?
That's right.
our auxiliary positions. The Essos diplomat is Missandei, and the Wildling diplomat is Val.
Here we go.
There we go.
Cool.
Right.
What about the commander of the Gold Cloaks?
Commander of the Gold Cloaks.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What about Mormont on that one?
Well, do you want a King's Landing native?
Mormont's still alive?
Oh,
They're the younger Mormonts are
One of the
still
younger
alive,
Mormonts.
and Lady Mormont's still alive. The eldest daughter is dead.
oh.
Yeah.
Stacy.
Oh, wait, we've got more. Essos diplomat. Oh, you just wrote those in.
filled those
Never
out,
mind.
So what do you want for the Gold Cloak commander? Like, we could have a guy here. We don't have to have just women. We have
Gendry.
Or
No,
Podrick.
like
Podrick.
Podrick. I kind of like all women in Hot
We should
Pie,
put
though. That's
Podrick
kinda
as
cool.
Queen's Justice, because it would be ironic if he ended up as Queen's Justice. That would be kind of...
Well, all these ladies, I mean, they want Podrick there, so, you know,
Yeah.
he's the ladies' man now.
Yeah.
I do like having Hot Pie as the sole male member of the small council. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, I think Podrick and Hot Pie would get along pretty well.
I think it would be cool if the commander of the Gold Cloaks was a native of King's Landing, since you're effectively the chief of police of the town.
Who's good from that area, then?
Who's a woman? I don't know how many women characters we've met that fit the bill.
From King's Landing, yeah.
Lawless Stokeworth.
Yeah,
What is
she's
it
from
called?
that area.
She's from the area, just outside the
Just
city.
murder everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
Bronn.
there'd be Bronn would going up the ladder again if his wife gets appointed to the...
Small cat, right?
I don't think she fits Gold Cloak Commander, though. Like,
No, I don't think she fits much of anything, but she's probably interested in more law and order in the streets of King's Landing. She
Sure.
kind of wasn't too happy the last time Law and Order broke down. And
I don't want to make a joke of it, but like seriously, like provided that she's surrounded by people who are, I don't know. I mean, this is silly.
well,
I guess,
she could team
but,
up
like,
with her husband, right? It'd be husband-wife combination, Bronn.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll put two commanders, then Lawless and Bronn will...
Lawless and Bronn. I actually, it's not a terrible idea to have someone who is like directly, you could look at it as like an advocacy position, someone who is directly affected by the breakdown of law and order in King's Landing.
Well, a lot of the
sort of
job
helping
is
to steer
it's
things.
not a militant job, really. It's like, hiring people and like making sure the right person is the job and giving orders. Like, where's the wiki? Lawless wiki, which is like, it actually makes them seem almost like a couple. This is the guy who does all these drawings. Is it Wiki of Ice and Fire?
Oh.
right.
Well, I mean, I don't think Bronn is. I mean, I don't know. I've just always kind of assumed that he probably is kind of fond of her.
I feel like there's no reason for him to be cruel for no reason.
Exactly.
Like,
He's not cruel for no reason. Exactly.
I send you a link here with the image. This is going to be
Okay. I don't know. Now I kind of, since I write so much about misogyny and the violence against women and the role that has played in this world, like now I have this image of like Lawless, as this righteous reformist figure, and like but through Bronn, who like has grown to be like genuinely affectionate and loyal to her, and is like, yeah, we're not messing around with this anymore. So I'm getting behind. It's becoming less silly and more like,
Bronn
why
does
not?
things in his self-interest, and it's in his self-interest to have a good relationship with his wife. There's no interest in being bad, and if it's in his self-interest to be powerful in this council, so it all fits his self-interest. He doesn't have like a need to be cruel to be cruel. He just wants to go up. Like he'll be cruel if necessary, but it doesn't have an inherent need. to do so. So
He'll ask you how much first.
yeah.
Right.
So as long as you pay him, he'll do the right. I pasted that image in there, by the way. Okay.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
family photo.
Yeah. Good. Okay, we're almost at intermission here. But the one thing we've never done is, well, I guess Queensguard really quickly. Now we have Queensguard. Now this can be a mix. Sure.
All right,
Well,
if
let's
it
get
comes
this
to
here before
Queensguard-
it goes then. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's
Well, can we
mostly
reuse
all
people?
Mormonts that are all the warrior people and Arya.
Yeah. What do you mean reuse? Like from before? Like our
Well,
last.
Brienne, we need 7, and Brienne
Yeah,
is
Brienne
on
is already
top.
in there because she's
All right. So who are the dangerous sand snakes? I can't remember. Is it Tyene and Lady
Yeah,
Lance?
Tyene, Obara, and Nim, right? Those are the 3 that are older.
One of them is
Oh,
just the
which
poison,
one is-
like the poisoning one, which is not going to really work.
That's Tyene, I think, is the one that does the poisoning.
So what are the ones that were militant? Obara was one of them, right?
Yeah, Obara.
Well, all of them.
Obara was really militant.
The Queensguard.
Who else we got here? If it's Brienne, she's going to pick Podrick to be there, right? Or if
True.
or at least we're going to give her more input into setting this up. Then.
Oh, Obara San is the one I was thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, she's.
So Brienne, Obara, Podrick. Who else? One of the Mormonts, at least, right? One of the militant Mormonts.
Yeah, I forget how old all the living
Well, they'll be-
Mormonts are now.
Well, we even have Alysanne, right? She's like 30 or something, isn't she? Or
Alysanne, not 30. I mean, the oldest one's
she's in
dead.
her 20s, yeah.
Yeah.
But she already
Mira?
has 2 kids, right? Sorry?
Mira.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing about Mira, she's both militant and intelligent, which is useful for this. Okay,
That's what
so-
you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have 4 here. Was there another sand snake we wanted to put in here, or do we have? Well, I think we should have a Mormon. So let's put Mormon something.
Mormon something.
Something.
Militant Mormon.
Militant Mormon.
Mormon.
Or Millie, for sure.
So we have 5. We need 2 more.
There you go.
We'll just make up a Millie Mormont. Just put Millie Mormont, and she's the long forgotten Mormont that will be introduced in
Millie
Winds of
Mormont.
Winter.
Hey, isn't there like another Ironborn woman that is a fighter? Like she runs around naked one time and like fighting. You remember that?
I don't remember that part.
That sounds like one of your personal fantasies to me.
No, when Asha gets attacked in the forest, like that woman was like she just like runs in and she's with her axe and she's like half naked. Don't you remember that?
No.
That's in
I
there.
do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's
No,
canon.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I do. It was Alysanne Mormont who's the surviving Mormont.
Yeah, she's the oldest
Daisy
one.
died at the red wedding.
The younger ones too.
Yeah,
I mean, like
Daisy's
the 10-year-old sends a letter to Stannis saying like we're like
Right.
Yeah, is Alysanne the one that sends the letter? That was a younger one. It wasn't
What about
the oldest surviving.
the one with the dyed hair? The Manderly daughter with the dyed hair. She seems like a tough character.
what's her name with a W?
Let's find out.
Yeah, I'll have W's.
Nymeria. We need a dire wolf on this Queensguard.
Oh, it's Wyla Manderly. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's Wyla Manderly or Willa Manderly.
I think she's definitely worth. Now, do we really? I guess there's no other positions left. So if we want to put her, we'll put on.
I mean, we're assuming that in the interim,
The Manderlys need to be rewarded for what they've done, right?
Yeah. So then I say Willa Manderly, provided she's. I mean, she's the one who's ride or die for the Starks. So she's the one
she
who,
should be loyal. She'll be loyal there. There we go. So bring Willa.
right. She insults the phrase to their face and tries to right. Yeah.
Okay, so we got 6. We just need one more person here.
You want a wildling? Do you want someone from Essos?
I guess either is open for that.
Who's a tough wildling who's not dead?
We don't have any names. I mean, we might have those like spearwomen, but we don't have an actual name for them.
It's gonna be.
Harma Dogshead is dead.
Yeah, she's dead.
Let's just put that naked Ironborn chick. What was her name?
Naked Ironborn. There you go.
I mean, we could say Asha Greyjoy, but she's not even a little bit.
Yeah, it's just better in this massive ships because
Yes.
it's more take advantage of her abilities there than to put her.
Right.
I think she was like this woman was like redheaded too or something like that, right? But,
Well, it's just too bad Ygritte's dead.
So the
Stoneheart.
our ideal Queensguard is
Stoneheart.
But she's not really like, a fighter type person. I guess she can taste like your food or something to make sure it's not poisonous. I don't know.
She just stands next
I'm
to
not
Sansa.
sure her
and
taste buds are in very good shape anymore.
Oh, and look, we're stacking the council with Starks here. Well, maybe you want to do that. Like maybe that's what a smart
What are you talking
Yeah, I
about?
don't know.
I don't know if Stoneheart doesn't really fit here. Why is this so hard to find the last person for this Queensguard?
I thought Naked
What's
Mages.
the? Is it Pretty Maris, the one from the some sort of company?
Pretty Maris. Oh, but she really
She's
wants.
like psychotic.
Yeah, you don't want to put her in the
Bad
Queensguard.
way.
Though, yeah.
Oh right, she's actually crazy. Yeah.
Naked Ironborn chick is gonna be number 7. Okay. All right.
Well, it's Naked Ironborn.
I'm using my veto here, so.
This is why you don't put men in charge of these decisions.
She won't actually be naked while she's there.
This is why we need a queen and an all-female small council.
I just picture this chick running around King's Landing in a white cloak and nothing else. Just screaming.
Well, she has axes. She has axes in her hand. She has double axe. This was scared
Oh, wait.
the hell out of Elio.
Dude, I've got it. The mountain clan woman with the ear necklace.
Oh.
Oh, Chella, daughter.
Chella.
Yeah.
There we go.
So are we gonna have to cut Naked Ironborn chick for that, or are we gonna put
No,
that?
I think
I'm
we should cut
afraid
Willa
so.
Manderly for that because she's not really a warrior.
You're cutting the North remembers this person on
Okay, we
Earth.
gotta put Willa Mander really somewhere else. Like we can put her like
Maybe she's master of laws because she knows she's all about loyalty. And she's like, F the phrase, F the Lannisters.
Well, let's just put her as Queen's Justice because Sansa's gonna have to kill a lot of people who are like, and so she's willing to do it, right? Like, like all the Freys are gonna have to kill. It's gonna take like a long time to get them all executed. So, maybe not. Let me cancel that. But we would want to make use of Willa somewhere. So what are we gonna do? Well, maybe we just make sure that she runs the White Harbor. Like we just bump her head in succession.
Oh, but I don't want to be responsible for faux killing Wyman Manderly. I don't want that.
No, we're not going to kill him.
We're just going to have a heart attack. Seriously, I mean,
Okay.
nature is going to run its course on that one.
He'll choke to death on Walder Frey.
He'll eat way too much Frey pie, and have a massive coronary.
Okay, so our only problem right now is we want to give Willa some sort of position to reward the men.
Warden of the North.
There you go.
So are we assuming?
That's why we should do the wardens, north, south.
Oh, there we go.
All right, so Ariane, can we say is Warden of the South then? Is that safe?
Sure.
Scene.
All right. Warden of the North is Willa Manderly.
So are we assuming the rest of the Starks are dead then? Like,
Well, Rickon's maybe not of age yet.
oh yeah, maybe he's not of age yet, right? Because it doesn't have to be permanent. Yeah. Like,
Right.
yeah, exactly. And then I would.
You just got so excited, I mean.
Yeah.
Rickon's not of age! Yes, this works perfectly!
Well, we show the robber brother of like the war. I mean, it's not a hereditary title, but still, yeah, you need somebody to marshal the North. Okay, where?
All right, so Warden of the East is then Elaine Stone.
Wait, who?
That's Sansa.
Oh, right, crap.
You mean Mira? No, what was that?
Maya
Stone?
Stone.
Yeah.
Maya Stone.
Nice.
Her alter ego.
No, Ward of these should be Miranda Royce. Nestor Royce's daughter.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
barely introduced in A Feast for
right.
Crows, but
Yeah,
Okay.
Warden of the
And then
West.
Warden of the West, Lancel Lannister. We assumed Marjorie was dead.
She was dead.
Yeah.
Oh, we did? Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Lancel is you could then involve the Faith, because he's down with those dudes. Although at this point he's renounced all worldly titles, right?
Oh, we didn't have a Septon or whatever, a High Septon, or we're missing that.
that would probably be Tyene, the sand snake that's
Yeah.
very devout.
Okay,
Yeah. Tyene Sand.
Okay, so all we're missing now is Warden of the West, right? Yeah, that's all we're missing. Which
Jane Westerling.
Oh.
Yes.
Jane
Yeah.
Stark, excuse
There we
me.
go.
There we go.
Wow. I
Oh.
feel like I've actually achieved something.
When this episode comes out, you're gonna post this on your. Everyone post this council on their blogs or whatever.
Oh man, you bet. Are you kidding? On Tumblr? This will be a sensation.
This is a pretty good setup. But so Kyle, go through our Wardens and our Queensguard.
Alright, so for our Wardens, we have Warden of the South, Ariane Martell. We have Warden of the North, Willa Manderly. Warden of the East, we have Miranda Royce. And Warden of the West, we have Jane Stark. And what is it? The Queensguard?
Yep.
Let's see, where is
The
that?
High
Here it
Septon.
is. Queensguard, we have Brienne as Lord Commander. We have, Miss Commander. We have Oberyn Sand. We have Podrick. We have Mira. We have the militant Mormont, most likely named Millie Mormont. We have
It's Alicent.
Chella, the fair maid. And we have, best of all, the naked Ironborn chick.
Wielding dual axe.
Wielding dual axes, a white cloak, and not much else.
Yes, they give her a white cloak, but nothing else.
The naked Ironborn chick likes axes.
I just want to state for the record that I will not be writing the phrase "naked Ironborn chick." I am noting this.
Oh, you'll find her actual name, right?
It's like we were all on
Yes.
such our best behavior until we got to the very last entry.
Yep. All right.
I don't know. She sounds fearsome to me. I wouldn't mess
No,
with
we'll
her.
have her. You just won't be referring to her as naked Ironborn chick wielding dual
I'll-
axes with
I'll see if I can determine who she is and if she actually survived that battle, which I'm not entirely convinced.
Oh, we have missed the High Septon is Tyene. We added that there, right?
Yes.
So, okay, good. Okay, so one last thing before Sean leaves us is because one thing we've never done actually is an ideal wall if there's actually a wall still around. So maybe not what's happening later or not, but just like ideal wall be Stannis as Lord Commander maybe.
Oh boy.
Yeah, why not? Stannis would be perfect for the wall.
Down there.
Just as expendable.
And he wouldn't
Although I
even
kind of
miss any
think-
of the stuff he has to give up.
Yeah.
Cold man for a cold place. Okay.
Yeah, I've Stannis for sure. We're not gender flipping this one.
No, could be whatever, I guess. I mean, unless we're
Just
changing the wall, but I don't know.
The ladies' wall. Whoa.
I guess, I don't know. What do you guys
I
want to do
think
with
it's kind of a bad idea if you have a celibate order to put women amongst them.
Well, maybe we allow we cut the celibacy part. We're updating with the times. Like, you don't have to. Well, I guess this is not necessarily tied to the Sansa situation. I just know we've never done an ideal wall before. Like, we've done these other stuff before. We never talked about ideal wall. I was just curious to see.
Do you guys? I'm curious if you guys think by the end of the series that the wall will still be up.
Oh,
No.
It's
I don't
gotta
think
No, I think it's got to come down as part of the.
or there won't be need for Night's Watch because either they'll win or they'll lose. I don't think it's going to be like then 2,000 years later this is going to happen again. I think it's going to be one way or the other. They're going to resolve this.
I just don't see how the others can be a plausible threat if the wall never comes down.
Exactly. No, that thing's coming down.
That bitch is coming down. Nice. Somebody's gonna blow a horn, and that sucker's coming down.
Well, let's say like okay, here's a scenario. Okay, so this is Dance of Dragons, and everybody's died for some reason, and now John has to restack the wall. Like, who should he put the smart way? He should be putting people that he trusts.
So everyone has died except the one guy who did die.
The guys who died were like the previous steward and first ranger. All of that are all dead. And,
Massive outbreak of syphilis at the wall. Everybody's dead.
Ugh.
oh damn, that naked Ironborn chick is all.
Well, this is. I mean, in all honesty, I feel like this is the kind of thing that would be filled by characters you've never heard of. You know,
Yeah.
it's tough to say like who's a good first, unless you know. The steward would be Sam, and the first ranger would be Gren, and the Eastwatch command. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I think he's saying though anybody in the realm,
Yeah, anyone in the room.
right? Not because you're right. We don't know enough Night Watch people to say who would be best
Say anyone
in the watch, but the people we know in the realm.
well,
So
then
the first
people
we'd have to send them to the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got some good
Who deserves
choices
to go to
then.
the wall?
So it should be all enemies of Queen Sansa, right?
Right.
Enemies or like repent people who have some stuff that they've done in their lives that they
Okay.
kind of need to
Like
put
Jaime
behind.
Lannister, for example?
Or just
Jamie
people who
Lannister.
didn't bring her lemon cakes. I mean, that's pretty
Okay,
good.
so where's Jamie going here? If we have Jamie
So
there,
there'll be
Well,
some phrase up there.
I assume Jamie dies, but
so in this scenario, he's alive. So I guess this could fit the Queen Sansa situation, just sending people up there. So if he's around, where would we put him?
First ranger.
But he's not quite a good fighter, though. That's a problem. Like,
how about Jorah Mormont for first ranger?
Oh.
but we
There you go.
we want Jamie somewhere though.
Yeah, Jamie should probably be one of the garrison commanders. You know, Eastwatch or Shadow Tower. Probably Shadow Tower because Eastwatch you want someone with naval experience.
Yes,
Victarion.
Yeah, Terry.
Victarion's dead. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
Victarion.
Aaron.
Victorians.
Oh, by the way, Sean hates
or
Victarion.
Victarion and
I
his
do
good
hate
buddy
Victarion.
Kahura Mo is like coach
Right.
man.
You hate Victorian, Sean?
I hate Victarion.
I
Victarion
love
is
him. That is, I mean, I
No, I mean,
didn't
he's a
used to love him, but you know, it's that whole buddy cop routine he's got going. I love it.
it's a good character, but I think it's a
It's
loathsome.
like, I know I'm drowning everybody right now, but don't worry, I'll let you set someone on fire later. I mean, it's just great.
Wait, so is Sam the steward here? Or are we
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that was the whole purpose. So yeah.
Yeah.
Eastwatch.
So all we need is Eastwatch commander here. So we.
definitely someone, naval experience.
Who's some
One of the
Davos?
red wines, or Davos, or red wine.
Or Rain Waters. We could send a Rain Waters to the wall.
Who would be up there?
What about like Garen of the Roin?
Davos. Send Davos to the wall.
Yeah, I like Davos.
Yeah, with Davos there, okay.
Theon.
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 Yeah. Is that good? Eastwatch.
I like this group.
Cool.
Oh wow, because you're flanked by people who've been mutilated. Eastwatch's Theon and Shadow Tower's Jamie. First Ranger's Jorah Mormont living up to the legacy of his father finally at last. Steward is Samuel Tarly as intended, and Stannis. I like this, man.
And
this is a nice
Tyrion
group.
there. Definitely, we need some Tyrion action.
I agree. Tyrion is as the mayor of Molestown.
But isn't he married to the
The
queen?
mayor of Moles.
Oh, isn't he? What? He's sent away because that's a good way to send him away. Send him away to the wall, and then you don't have to worry about that marriage.
That's right.
So Tyrion is the commander / VIP of Molestown.
It's pretty cool.
So okay,
Okay.
read through this again, Kyle. Here we go.
So the Lord Commander of our ideal wall group of our Night's Watch here, we have Lord Commander Stannis, we have Steward Samwell Tarly, First Ranger Jorah Mormont, Eastwatch Commander Theon, Shadow Tower Commander Jamie, and Commander / VIP of Molestown Tyrion.
All right. I like this group. I would also make one last suggestion, and I would say that this future Night's Watch would establish like a full-fledged fortification north of the wall, and that should be headed by Tormund Giantsbane, wherever that is, at Craster's Keep or at the Fist of the First Men or wherever it ends up being.
Okay.
Nice.
Yar.
Whoa. That's how they spell in Canada.
For those of us listening along at home, we're watching Amin type, and it's a little bit it's as though Tormund himself were typing.
I always thought Tormund would make a good diplomat, though. We put him in there.
Yeah. Well, he's effectively Warden of the Wild this
Yeah.
way.
Good position.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I guess Sean, you were saying you're going to have to head out.
I do, but I feel like I've left Westeros a better place than I founded it. So my work here is done. Thank you very much, gentlemen. This was a real pleasure as always. Thanks
In
for
fact,
having me.
Sean.
I'll email
Yeah,
you this list because I don't know when this episode is coming out. If you feel like releasing the list early, you can do so. It kind of be like a preview.
Ooh, as a teaser.
Yeah, the
I like
teaser.
it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can change the Naked Ironborn chick her actual name.
I'll see if I can find it. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. This is a lot of fun.
This is awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Thanks so much, Sean.
Bye bye.
Cool. So I need to get
Bye.
a break, get some water and stuff. How are you guys feeling?
I'm going to take a quick break. I
Good.
definitely need a drink. No, I need a drink.
And then I say we speed through like
Yeah,
a
let's
final.
power up. Let's go power quickly. Like we'll go faster now. So
We'll power through some stuff, and then
Yeah.
because I gotta.
Yeah.
We all got stuff going on.
yeah, we all got
It's-
stuff to do. Yeah.
Unless we're looking at a 4-hour podcast.
Oh my God! No!
No.
Say that.
No.
Amin
So-
gets crazy. Amin gets crazy theories sometimes. We have to bring him back down to
No,
earth.
we're gonna power through these ones. Like this is gonna be fast. Okay. So
All right.
see you in 5 minutes then.
Give me 5 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
But which you saw my email about how many subscribers we have, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, over 8,000 subscribers.
So I wasn't lying.
No, you were right, and in fact, it might be even be higher because we haven't been able to access the thing to see.
Very
So,
nice.
We have at least 8,000 subscribers, which is cool.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, you're back.
Yes.
Yeah, because we used to wonder how many we had. We were estimating, like I estimated always at least 3,000 because we have 1,000 downloads, just 1,000 manual downloads. I figured 3 times as many subscribed, but when I had the plugin up before the site went down, it was 8,000 people subscribed. So
I'm back and I have coffee and nuts.
cool.
Yep.
All right,
Go
we're
ahead.
back here, Fabio. We were just saying the good news is that we have over 8,000 subscribers now. We're not sure exactly how many still, but in the 8,000s.
Pretty soon you'll be able to say it's over 9,000.
Yeah.
But not quite yet.
All right, quick question for you guys is, are any of you thinking about, like, have you heard of the Ice and Fire Convention next year, and are you thinking about attending it or even close enough to do so, or I was just curious?
I had not heard of it until I saw your document, and then I went to their website after that. So you were there last year, or this year, or whenever it was
I
you
was
were
there
there.
in April with and so was Ashley, and we had a really good time. It was a
Yeah.
lot. So
I mean, I don't know. I'm close enough that I could do it. I'm not in Ohio anymore. It isn't too far away. I don't know. You have to think about it. That could be a lot of fun. It's something I'm going to consider.
yeah. Cool. But you, Fabio, you're like on the West Coast, right? So it'll be harder for you to.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, but I could plug it.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, Fabio and I only go to the Hollywood events, hand in hand.
That's how we roll.
That's right. Oh, that makes sense. So I guess that DOMA ruling must have been really good for you guys. Okay.
There you go. Now people are fighting it again.
Oh, we weren't following any of their stupid rules in the first place.
I know. Fabio and I, we make our own rules.
Where
We're going, we don't need rules.
Now, Fabio, you're registered on our forums, I believe. I was just going to suggest, like, Alex or anybody else, if they want. Once our website is back up, 'cause it's down now. But actually, like, we have even Elio's posting our forums or other people. So if you do register there, let me know and I can, like, add you as, like, Tower of the Hand representative or something. Like, I have the to do that. Just let me know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
We appreciate you weighing in on our importance of Dorn post a couple weeks back.
Yeah, that post was let's talk about that post briefly. Basically, like
It was fiery.
The comments exploded and it was like this huge fight there and I was just like, wow, I thought Westeros had the trolls. But
Well, it became a racial discussion and kind of, sort of started as a racial discussion, I guess. We're just talking about how Westeros is perceived as very white, so we kind of wanted a little color thrown in on Dorne, and boy, you can't even say that without it getting a strong reaction. So I kind of expected it, and all in all, I enjoyed it.
yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely an issue. I know I tweeted about it through our account, and woof, we had one angry person who certainly chimed in with some comments. Yeah, wow, hot button topic.
I guess you were tweeting specifically about the Red Viper being cast, which I guess we can quickly talk about, right? Like this was, it links exactly to the article as well. It was just a question of casting and basically.
We knew it would be. Hot button,
absolutely. Because it's a Chilean actor that was cast, correct?
Yep, yeah. Chilean American. I mean, he went to school in Orange County, so
Oh, okay.
Some person said, this is pretty funny, some person said, see, he went to school in Orange County, it means he's white. I'm like, have you ever been to Orange County? If he's Chilean from Orange County, he probably lives somewhere around Harbor Boulevard, and I know exactly the neighborhoods that he grew up in, so trust me, he's not white.
There we go.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just wait and see how the performance goes and judge it there. I think it's just too hard to predict right now until we see what actually happens. The issue is that some people were saying, like Ashley, for example, it's just like they were hoping for somebody darker just because you don't usually get that opportunity to have someone without changing things, whereas somebody darker would fit the canon. But I mean, like, just because you have one person like this doesn't mean like everyone's going to be like this exact skin tone. There can be a variety of skin tones.
Right.
So,
right,
and I've seen pictures of him where he has darkened up considerably. So,
I see Dorne as very much, a Western Mediterranean culture, more Spain in that area. And if he's of Chilean descent, then there's probably also some Spanish descent in there. I mean, he's in the right ethnic ballpark, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a spectrum of what Dorne is, and it's all the way from Spain to India, and there's arguments of where it is, and it could fall anywhere along there. So he does.
I know, and I've seen some of the arguments. I mean, I would agree with the people that say that when it comes to the Martells, that they are probably of the slightly less swarthier variety. They're less of the desert. They're more of the coast, and so they're going to be not the darkest skinned Dornishmen out there.
Right.
The Manwoodies, however.
Yeah, we're in Manwoody territory now. This should be like you guys' cup of tea.
I know. We're hoping. I'm hoping they come riding in when Oberyn makes his appearance, like he does in the books. Let's see. They need it. Just a flag with a skull and a crown on it. That's all.
That would be a good question to send to Brian Cockman. Actually, like, it's just like, are you aware of the Manwoodies, and are you going to put them in there?
Sure, that's his top priority.
You need to explain that, otherwise he's going to get the wrong idea. Like,
he's going to be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, crap.
I think that scene, like with Tyrion and Pod, would be hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they could put such a comic twist on it with Pod's identifying different banners and throwing out weird names. Just
absolutely, that would be great. And I think it would work so well because, I mean, we've gone 3 seasons now without any sort of Dornish presence at all, and just it'd be such a great introduction because we'd really be able to get this kind of history lesson of Dorne just in a little conversation between those two characters.
Right.
Well, now we're back on the show. Just very quickly, I wanted you guys lemon cake rating for season 3, and if you thought it was back on track and better than season 2.
Yeah, I think season 3 was the best season so far.
Of the 3, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amin is so concerned.
No. I mean, it's almost you're right. It's almost a 50-50 split between first season and third season being the better one. So
they're about tied for me. I think the first season and the third season are about tied with second season falling behind. But yeah, it's about a tie to me. So.
Alex?
Yeah, I would say
there were some things that I thought they did wrong, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think third was probably the best overall so far. There were definitely some areas that I was disappointed in, but not enough to dull my enjoyment of the overall thing. And they certainly didn't do anything as silly as what they did in Karth in season 2.
Right.
Yeah, I was hoping I was going to have Elio and Sean hash it out here, but neither one of them are here, so we'll just skip. Say that for some other time.
Where are my dragons? All right, Amin, let's do this. Let's do some rapid-fire questions.
I'm doing rapid-fire here. Okay,
let's hit the lightning round.
Oh, here's a rapid-fire question. Where is the Blackfish? Riverlands, the North, or the Vale of Arryn? Where is he?
Riverlands.
Vale of Arryn.
Riverlands.
Vale of Arryn.
All right.
Okay, so and for further details, read Brendan's article on Tower of the Hand. Okay, where is Euron Greyjoy? Is he in Westeros, or is he heading over to Essos?
Oh, bottom of the sea.
No.
I think he's still in Westeros somewhere.
I think he's in Westeros somewhere. I really like this idea, though, of the Dusky Woman being like some kind of crazy. I don't know how plausible it is, but I liked that one.
Okay, first of all, I think he might be going to Essos because I don't know if he trusts Victorian to do what he's doing. But I mean, what is that theory? I read somewhere Euron his skin changing the Dusky Woman or something. Where's the evidence for this?
I don't think there is any evidence other than the fact that she never talks much, and yet she's always there. And some people think that Euron was a failed skin changer disciple. I don't think it's probably true, but I liked it. It amused me.
I've never even heard that theory.
Yeah, me neither.
I hadn't either until this.
Somebody sent us more information because I was reading it. It was like people were like citing the theory, saying like, yeah, in this theory, blah blah blah. I was like, what theory? So.
What the what?
Because they think his smiling eye has something to do with some of the same stuff going on with Bloodraven and
well that part makes sense in the sense that he seems to be maybe like a failed disciple of Bloodraven, so maybe he has skin changing abilities, which is interesting. Kind of like a Jedi gone Sith sort of thing was the metaphor I was doing. So yeah, tell us more about that. We don't have much information here. Now
I found it entertaining, but I don't think it's probably happening.
Okay, continuing the rapid fire. Have any of you read about this guy's theory about everything being like a Norse gods analogy or whatever, or like the source of the books being the Norse? Have you heard of that?
No, the only time Norse has come up to me was when people were debating the warg skin changer thing, and warg is an old Norse term as well, I believe. Well,
Elio wrote in here in the document, he said it's a monumental piece of lunary. So.
I just can't believe that a guy as anti-trope as Martin is doing something like that as his overall premise. So,
right.
Agreed.
I just think it's the same as saying that that everything is from the War of the Roses. I think he just cherry picks useful things and puts them together. Yeah. It's not one thing is going to dominate it.
Right. It doesn't say the Ravens were clearly from Norse mythology, but I don't think he's recreating. Norse mythology.
He took some things from Ravens. Even Frey's name might have been from there, but I just think it's overemphasizing going from that angle. Okay, good. So that's done. Actually, we're mostly done our stuff here. Let's see. Okay, again, we're not going to hash out the debate of the Great Magic Dragon debate, but I want you to just say one way or the other. Do you believe that dragons are the source of magic?
I think the return of dragons are a symptom of magic.
I think, yes.
Returning to the world. The others are coming back. The Rolor, the Lord of Light, with his power, whether he exists or not, is coming back, and the dragons are one manifestation of this coming back.
Yeah.
They're a symptom.
They're a barometer showing what's going on. But the thing is,
Right.
and if you see that, this is one thing that Chris, one of our original hosts, actually the one thing that he said pretty well was like when you see dragons exist, then you're more likely to believe in magic. You get reinforced your belief that things are magical or you can rely on it when you know that there's dragons in the world, right?
Right.
So it's like a good sign there. Okay, that's done. Powering through to the end of the document here.
The one thing Chris said. I like that.
Yeah. Where is Edric Dane? Like it seems like he's split apart from Barrick's group. Is that what's happening? But is he still in?
Yeah, in the Feast for Crows appendix, it definitely seems like there is a contingent of Brotherhood characters that are not following Lady Stoneheart.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like a splinter group.
Yeah, but is Edric there with them right now? You think, or do you think he's left? We have no way of knowing basically right now, right?
Yeah, but they didn't all follow Stoneheart. The Feast for Crows appendix makes that much clearer.
Cool. Okay, that's out of the way. We did Euron. That's out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, look at the document. Is there anything else there that shoots out that you'd like to say? Can you take over dragons? Do you guys think can they be skin changed? Can they be darged?
Can we warg dragons?
Can you darg them? Yeah.
Can you darg them?
I think so.
Because it
It
seems like
seems
Because I
to
think
me
it's
that-
too cool not to see.
I mean, I think if you can warg people, I mean, very few people can do it successfully, but if you can warg people, I find it hard to believe you can't warg dragons.
Yeah. Maybe it's similar to that where it's a more difficult thing. Like maybe only a few people can do warg
like
dragons.
Bran, for example, right?
Man. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that the 2 points is like one, Martin's avoided answering that question, which seems like that's important. He doesn't want to give it away. And the second thing is maybe that's why the Targaryens, the Valyrians didn't go over to Westeros so early. They were worried about skin changes over there. That might have delayed them going there. Okay, so here's a quick question here. If a skin changer skin changes into another skin changer as part of the second life, do they retain the ability to skin change?
If a skin changer skin changes into another skin changer. Skin changes into
The idea being if Bloodraven is going to like try to skin change in their brand to extend his life, like some sort of backstab there.
Except that I think eventually your personality goes away and is merged to the original host. So I think the original host would not lose the ability to skin change, but I
Well, wasn't Varamir trying to take over that woman? Like he wanted to just like purge her from her and then take over?
Right.
Yes, but Varamir doesn't necessarily know as much as he thinks he does. Yeah.
Skin changer changed into a skin changer.
Because when you go into an animal, you lose your ability. But what if you go into another skin changer? Is that?
I feel like that would be you'd be even worse off because you have that powerful mind fighting your own in there. I feel like that original skin changer would kind of just fade away or be overtaken.
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying.
Cool. Question for the fans there to work on. I'm
Most
just going to mention the Reddit theory of the week. Rhaegar's penis is Lightbringer. Moving on.
No, I thought that was very cool, actually.
Okay. So you thought it was an interesting theory.
I thought it was an interesting theory. I did. We'll see.
If you twist it the right way, things make sense, right? It causes
The thing
damage.
is that Martin might not have been thinking of it that way, but with Martin's approach to prophecy, which is that people see prophecy in everything and people see signs in everything, even if that's not how Martin saw it, it's not necessarily invalid for someone else to decide to put that spin on it.
Okay.
You know.
Cool.
Right.
So I have one thing I want to finish the episode off was we're going to talk about like certain character combinations. But of the theories, is there anything else we want to mention in terms of theories? I don't see anything else there. Here's a quick. This is a question. Last question from there from the general list is like why did Randall Tarley betroth Dickon Tarley to like Eleanor Mouton? Is that aiming a little low there? It just sucks.
I don't think so. I mean, Maidenpool being such a large trading center, I mean that's a pretty profitable holding right there. And in terms of their place in the food chain, the Tarleys and the Moutons are kind of at an equal level, I think, except when you add in the fact that Maidenpool is so profitable.
But wasn't it just like sacked and they could barely defend themselves?
Well, yeah, it was sacked. They couldn't defend themselves because they were off elsewhere. It was sacked, but it's not destroyed. It's going to come back.
It's a good location, anyways. Yeah.
It's not like Salt Pans that was just obliterated. I mean, there's still a town of Maidenpool, and the trade will flow through there again.
Okay, so let's go to the very end of the document. We have no other theories, right? So we're going to basically end the episode here.
Right.
In fact, maybe this will be the official after show. So do you want to wrap it up?
All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for listening today. I want to thank our guest hosts, Fabio. Thanks for coming. Alex, thank you for being here. Sean has long left us, but thank you as well. It's always nice to have you guys on and chat about the books and the show and everything in between. And these guys' nights out are always fun. So thanks for listening, for being with us. Keep up with our Twitter account at APOIAF and our Facebook page and our forums. And make sure you check out towerofthehand.com and winteriscoming. Oh, my God, is it org? It's org, right?
It's net.
Yeah.
Oh!
But at least there are no hyphens anymore.
I have it. So I have it bookmarked.
You can actually
in my
just
page.
type in "winter is coming" on the internet, and I think it comes right to us.
There we go.
We own every winter is coming that ever was and will be.
I go to it so often that I just have to type W into my browser, and it takes me right to the page. So, yes, and Sean, where can we send Sean? BoiledLeather.com. So, thank you guys all so much for being here.
See you next time. All right, so quick after show is two things. One is those friend things. But the first thing is the creepy Tumblr or whatever thing of the week. Go to the end of the document. Is the shipping it's called Stan or Sanstan, Sanis and Sansa. It's just ridiculous. It's so creepy. What? Did you see the pictures in there?
Stannis and Sansa.
Oh,
sexy.
That's a. Oh God. Oh God. Why?
And they use Stannis from like the series.
Why?
They use the characters.
Why is this happening?
Why is this happening?
It's sexy Thomas Jefferson gets all the ladies.
Well, technically,
sexy Thomas Jefferson.
This could have met our Sansa as queen situation because she could have married Stannis later on to claim.
But he's the Lord Commander of.
I know he's in the wall there, but I mean, just like, why are people shipping this?
I don't even know what to say.
Don't know.
Somehow this makes sense to someone.
I am a Sansa fan, and I do not approve of it.
I wish Sean was still here. I should have showed this when Sean was here. His head would have exploded. Like if he Okay, so that was part one. And the other thing I want to do is just quickly go to the very end of the list is just talk about really quickly how certain characters would have gotten on together as friends or whatever, or more. So the couple examples I had was, for example, how would Tormund and the Great John get together? Like, would they hang out, or would they be enemies? Or
they would get each other killed because they would be continually like measuring everything against each other. It would end in some wild drunken bat to do something really stupid, and then they would all be on fire.
A gigantic dick measuring contest that ended in a conflagration of
exactly. So I think they'd get each other killed in a bat.
So they would have a duel of sorts. You're saying this?
Oh my God, that's hilarious. They would have a duel.
What else we got here? I don't have many examples there, but if anything comes to mind, what about Tormund and Barristan?
Barristan would have killed him.
I'm not saying they would fight. I was saying what kind of interaction they would have.
Oh, if they were just hanging out over a drink or something?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Not a fight matchup. Although
I don't know. Do those two have anything in common?
Tormund just doing a lot of talking and Barristan sort of staring at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Barristan would be jealous of his wild life.
Okay, what about Dany and Asha?
I think they'd get on.
There could be some respect there. Especially depending on where Asha ends up in life.
In fact, that is one meeting that could actually happen, right? If she's still around in the north and Dany comes over there.
I don't know. What would be those two?
Here's a question. I guess whoever becomes the ruler has to resolve the Iron Islands in some way. And Asha could be key in that, and so could Theon, right? They can't just leave them as they are right now. There's got to be some sort of resolution.
I think so.
Yeah.
So... Okay, so last one on the list we have is Red Viper and Ned. How would they got along?
I think Oberyn would do them, but I don't think Ned wants to be done.
We just started another. Okay, we're gonna see images of that on Tumblr now. Red Viper, Ned, Like,
I don't think I don't think Ned would go for that, but he's a pretty strapping guy. I think the Red Viper would do him.
Ned Viper hashtag Ned Viper.
The Ned Viper.
Well,
Ned Viper.
Ned was down south, and he was like, after the war, he was sad because Ashara died, and he's doing that stuff. He needed to be consoled with his Dorne. There you go.
So Ned went down south.
That's why when Caitlin was trying to ask about what happened to John, he's like, "Don't even talk about it. I don't even want to talk about what happened back then." He didn't want to talk about what happens in war.
Immediate scene segue over to the one night of lust that they experienced together after the horror of the Tower.
I'm sure the Red Viper would let Ned use his personal Tower of Joy.
Whoa. I don't know. I feel like Ned's too much of a stick in the mud for Oberyn.
Oh, I said Ned wouldn't go for it. I'm just saying that I think Oberyn would do him. Ned wouldn't like it though.
For that northern experience.
Yeah.
Ned does have a history with all those Dornish people, huh? Jesus.
Wow, the Tower of the Hand has now made me think of a different meaning for the Tower of Joy, which then in turn makes me think of a different meaning for Tower of the Hand.
Whoa!
Oh dear.
Great. See how that works?
Yeah.
Just ruined me for the rest of the afternoon. Thank you, Tower of the Hand.
Hashtag Ned Viper.
Ned Viper.
What are the things I put on your Twitter now, Kyle?
I'm doing it right now.
All right.
Ned Viper.
Just that? Just the mysterious hashtag?
That's
nothing
it.
else?
That's
okay.
it.
Done.
Oh dear.
All right.
Cool. That's all I have here. So unless you see something else you want to talk about, I think we're done.
No, I think that's good.
That's a good quality episode.
Yeah, thanks again for having me.
Actually, Kyle, you may want to go. I have a question or two for Alex and Fabio that were asked by the forum people that I might want to ask them. So if you can stay, if you have to go, is fine. But let me just.
No, that's fine. I can.
Let's see where that file is.
Ned Viper.
Gentlemen, my work here is done.
The wolf and the viper.
Here we go.
All right. So what is the question here for Alex?
Should Undead Dolorous Ed tweet it as well?
Yeah, sure. You can retweet it. Also, asked you about Nats Dragons. Already did that. Okay. And then when you thought Winds of Winter's coming out. Good. Yeah, we did that.
Yep.
Okay. So all of Alex's questions are done. Fabio he said, okay, how many seasons do you think the show will have? And we already asked the other questions. So how many seasons do you think the show will go?
They've hinted at 7, but I honestly think they're aiming for 8. I think they want 8, but they're only publicly saying 7.
So just like George, basically.
Yeah. Well, they've publicly said 7, but in a number of recent interviews, Benioff has actually dropped a number of 80 episodes, and if you can count, then if you've got 10 episodes a year, I mean, my math is pretty much horrible, but I'm good enough to at least count that. So, yeah, I'm hoping for 8.
Cool. All right, that's what we have for the questions. So this is after the show.
Screw you then.
Yeah, we'll be in touch, guys. I don't know when this is coming out,
good.
but this was a lot of fun.
Absolutely,
guys.
Thanks again.
Cool. Talk to you later.
See you.
Cheers.
Thanks so much, guys.
Okay,
Yep,
Kyle.
no
So
problem.
just hold on to your. Oops, you there? Don't delete your file.
Okay.
Because just hold on to it in case I need it. But
sounds good.
Thanks for sticking around for the long haul. Hopefully we'll get the site back up. All right, I'll talk to you later, man. It was fun.
All right, dude.
Cheers.
Peace.
And we can't talk about the spoiler chapter, so I think... no, we're not talking about preview chapters, so...
How many preview chapters are out? I thought there was only like one out.
There's 2. He's released 2 that you can read in full, and I think there's 2 more that have been read at readings that people have more or less
By the time the
transcribed.
next book comes out, half the book out will be out there in spoiler chapters, just like it was before. That's why we're not reading.
Yeah, 2 you can read, and 2 that actually I think 3 that he's read. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Testing.
Hello.
Testing. Is that a Kyle I hear?
Yes, sir, it is.
My God, it's been so long.
It's been so long.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Did you guys get over your lovers' quarrel?
Were we quarreling?
All the time.
Well, that just makes the makeup better, right?
Makeup sex is what that's all about.
Whoa. Let's not get carried away here.
I heard that your birds were taken out or something, Kyle, by the way.
Well, I lost a tree or two, but they're still here, but I guess not right now, it sounds like. Yes. I used to have this beautiful tree barrier outside my window, and now I can stare directly into my neighbor's living room as I podcast.
Awesome. That's great.
I don't know if that's the word.
What, is he a nudist?
No, not that I've discovered yet.
Well, didn't you have like 5 hot women over the other night or something? Your Twitter.
I wouldn't say that. I had my roommate's family over, who were 5 blonde women. All off limits.
Oh, damn.
That's too bad.
Except for Grandma.
Grandma.
Hey, she likes Star Trek, so me and her got along very well.
All right, let's see. Who are we missing here? I think we're...
Elio can't join us.
Yeah, Elio canceled.
Sean there? I think he...
Hello?
Hey, Sean.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It was calling me and wouldn't neither let me pick up nor hang up nor quit nor do anything. I had to force quit the program, so that was exciting.
A conspiracy.
Well, prepare yourself for technical issues. So.
It's that latest Skype update.
That probably is what it is, yeah.
Although Alex and I were talking yesterday, we figured that this call is probably being traced by the U.S. government. Given the,
So once again, hello out there to all of our government friends.
Hello. Yeah, I've just been assuming that since I was in college, like in 1998, 99. I had just assumed that literally everything I did was like it's a saying of mine. Like when I need to say things like off the record to like an editor, I'll be like, "Hey, just between you and me and the NSA, it's over." And I've been saying that for literally years. And so then when it comes out that it is in fact the case, I'm like, well, you know, that's why you should hire me. I'm a great journalist. I knew what was going down.
It.
Yep.
Now, your paranoia is still unhealthy. Just remember that. Just because you were right this one time.
Okay.
No, just assume you're being spied on, and you can police yourself. You can censor yourself much better.
Right. That's a good point.
Oh, what a world.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question for you, Sean, actually, while we're waiting for Elio. How's your site work? Is it basically just Tumblr that's running your site?
Boiledleather.com, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just Tumblr. I bought the domain at a certain point, but that's just, you just park your Tumblr there. So yeah, it's just Tumblr's interface like all the other dopey Tumblrs I have. So,
yeah. I was curious is about because you have that thing where people ask you questions, which I think is pretty cool. Like, is that part of Tumblr's setup?
Yeah, that's built in there. Yeah, there's an Ask Me Anything feature that you can use or not use at your discretion. So, and that's now what the blog has become. Basically, it used to be, much more just me posting pictures and the occasional post or essay or whatever. But this time around, it was by this point, it's more asks than anything else. So
yeah, I always see that whenever I go there. It's like you have a bunch of questions, which is good. That's a good way to interact.
But it's like it gets a little daunting. Like I don't think I've had it below 35 questions in the queue that have been unanswered for probably 2 months. So, like I always, I pop in and answer like 5 at a time, and the next time I log on, it's just as I haven't gotten anywhere. Like G and Stables in there. So,
okay.
I want to take this opportunity to apologize. I have a cold, so I probably sound a little nasally and a little froggy and a little hoarse. So. I'm not my usual dulcet toned self.
Welcome to the club. That's how I sound all the time.
A little froggy and a little hoarse is kind of Kyle's sex life anyway. So.
Whoa!
Oh, has it begun? Has it begun?
Oh,
We're starting.
We're almost. I mean, we are recording. I am recording this, so this will be an after show. But I have bad news. Elio's not coming today. Apparently, he loved unwisely. So.
Elio.
Which was what Fabio did last time. How did he get over that?
Yeah.
Took a round of penicillin.
And bailing on one of these things is like being the first person to fall asleep at like a sleepover party. Like,
Oh yeah, it's great.
we're just gonna metaphorically put his hand in warm water so he pees himself.
I'll tell you how
We'll
to
throw
cook
a
dinner
man-woody on his
tonight, so
face.
you can make it.
Yeah, we'll write untoward things on his face in magic marker.
Amin is like the North. He remembers.
Yeah.
Yep.
We may wake up sans one magic ponytail. So
That's like
magic
I think Simpsons
takeaway.
hair. Can't do that.
That's impossible.
that's like the source of his power. Yeah. Samson. Okay, so let me look at the file here. I mean, we got plenty of people here, so it's not like we can't do this. This is actually, we'll just miss Elio on the votes that we're doing.
I'm an idiot that I didn't know Sean was on Tumblr. I'm just going there now and going, what the hell have I been missing? What's going on? What's going on?
I know. Send us a link.
No, I found it.
I will. Yeah.
Boiled leather. Just go
Or
boiled
send me a
leather.
link.
Boiledleather.com. I guess that's easy enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh.
But yeah, that's what it mostly is now. Just people's questions, which is fun because you get to kind of take the temperature of the fandom to a certain extent, like what people are really interested in as like a group of semi-anonymous Tumblr users. And the other thing is I get a decent amount of people who only get a Tumblr account to use that feature on my blog. So it's not.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's cool, and then it's not just Tumblr fandom, which has its own character. It's an interesting range of people.
Wow, this Varamir Six Skins artwork is badass.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I thought. Yep.
It's funny. I've been here. I've been to boiledleather.com before, but I didn't realize it was a Tumblr. Actually, I don't see many people use this skin. I didn't realize it was Tumblr. Oh, very
I
cool.
knew about
I
boiled
think
leather, but I didn't know it was Tumblr also.
Yeah.
I think I'm using. Oh boy, what am I using? I'm probably using a theme called Very Big or something like that, which is a popular theme for webcomics because the margins are so wide and you can run images full size. So that's what I have used for my own, webcomics Tumblrs that I've established because I write comics and have set up dedicated Tumblrs for like certain self-contained things and and I swipe that format from other people who do webcomics. So, but I think it works for the, because I run a lot of art. I like that to show up big, and then, I like the way it makes the text look too. I think it's kind of it's simple and smooth. So
I think it's the same skin I use actually. It's just you just went all white and I went all black.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I love the fact that pictures are freaking huge on here.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, I'm ready to start. Couple things.
Who asked you?
Yeah.
Jeez, we're having a conversation here.
Yeah.
Who's this guy again? Keeps making.
I'll sum it up. It's just use a skin. So.
Awesome.
Do you have your recorder open, Kyle?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, we got that open. So one thing is we don't do spoiler chapters on the podcast, so we won't be able to go into that. I know it's hard to balance sometimes, but try not to.
I can't talk
Go
about
there.
Viper casting then? Is that what you're saying?
What else?
Viper casting, yeah, go right ahead. What are you talking about?
No, we do that. I'm saying spoiler chapters from the books. Yeah. I will explain this again in the episode, but what a lot of this episode will be is we'll just like bring up a theory that's like pretty much impossible to fully delve into. But we'll, like for example, like Magic and Dragons, but we'll like summarize and then vote basically, so we can get everyone's view on it. So record it, and then we'll see how it turns out in a couple of years. Kind of thing. I have the Google Doc file open, so that might be handy to have open. And I don't know exactly when this is going to be released, so I'm not going to do the full intro with the date. I'll record that later. I'm just going to do the intro once we're in there. Okay, let's see. Or Kyle can do it if you want. Do you want to do the intro?
Oh, no, this is your show today, sir.
Cool.
Do your thing. Work your magic.
Okay, are we all ready to go? Got
Yes, sir.
water? You need it. We'll have an intermission in the middle, but
Oh,
I
jeez.
have one shoe.
What is this, Gandhi?
How long do you think we're running for? I mean,
how long do you have?
I don't really even know. I was just trying to get a
I'm
sense.
saying at least 2 hours. I think.
9 hours. 9.
Oh,
Straight through.
when we had Elliot, like when we knew Elliot was coming, and he said 9, I said the maximum 3 to 12, right? So maximum 3 hours.
Oh,
Whoa.
my.
Yeah,
I'm
but
probably not going to last that long.
well, guys last for different lengths, right? So you can pull out, and it's fine.
Jeez. Okay, and scene. Good night, everybody.
That's it.
Uh,
We've just finished the podcast.
You can safely like withdraw halfway through. Just
right.
just remember last time, dude.
Okay, I may wind up pulling out early.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the gentlemanly thing to do.
Indeed.
Evolved before the show has even begun.
Well, all right, this is
Yeah.
all going to be in the after show. So this is all recorded.
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
All right, we ready to go?
All right, I
Okay,
mean,
here
take it
goes.
away.